Hello everyone and welcome to episode 4 of Never Before Seen. I am AmberCyprian. I'll be your host tonight as we bring you another set of speedruns of games that have never before been seen in mainline GDQ events. As always, if you happen to speedrun a game that has never been run in an AGDQ, SGDQ, or GDQx, and you'd like to submit it to the show, type !NBS into the chat and find the link to be able to send me your runs, and I would love to have you on the show. But before we get started with the runs tonight, we have a few announcements. First of all, AGDQ 2021 online, if you missed it, it is complete, and the total was $2.77 million. I can definitely count for now, though. But as a reminder, all of GDQ's portion of subs, gift subs, Prime Gaming subs, and bits cheered on GDQ's Twitch channel for the entire month of January will be donated to the Prevent Cancer Foundation. So there is still a chance that we can get to that $3 million total. So GDQ Hotfix, as you may or may not know, it is a series of shows that happens every week here on Games Done Quick. If you want information on all of our Hotfix shows, that is available at gamesdonequick.com/hotfix. You can also find the submission form if you have a game you'd like to run on any of our other shows. Not just mine, but everyone else, whether it's Mercy Kill or any, or like Super Boss Brothers, all that good stuff, those are available on that website. And if you are watching this VOD on YouTube and you'd like to support our live content, please consider checking out our Twitch channel over at twitch.tv/GDQ. And, of course, if you have an Amazon Prime account, that means that you have Prime Gaming. And you can use your Prime Gaming sub to any Twitch channel of your choice every month for free. So please consider using your Prime Gaming account to subscribe to the GDQ Twitch channel and help support the hotfix content that you seem to enjoy so much. So for tonight's runs, or for tonight's shows, we have 3 really cool robot and mech-based games lined up for y'all. And I'm really excited to have Joester98 here with us to get the show started with Ghost in the Shell on PS1. So go ahead and introduce yourself, and we can go ahead and get this run started.
All right, what's up, everyone? If you are GDQ content, you may know me as the Mort the Chicken guy. I'm back again with some more PS1 hotness. This is Ghost in the Shell. This game was made by the same team that made the first 2 Jumping Flash games. So if you've ever seen those games or ever played them, this game will remind you a lot of those. It's very similar in style. And yeah, it's a pretty sweet game. Not a lot of people have heard it. So apparently there's an echo. That's not good. I don't think that should be coming from my end. Alright, never mind, we're good. Alright, so this game has 12 missions, and the goal is just to beat the game as quickly as possible, all 12 missions. Each mission is slightly different, so there's a fair amount of variance in what you have to do to beat the game. But if we're ready, let's get started in 3, 2, 1, go. Also, in the main menu, before this even started, I turned all the cutscenes and everything off, so I don't have to watch any of those.
Which automatically makes it instant good speed game.
Alright, so the main movement tech in this game is you can strafe with L1 and R1, and if you hold both strafe buttons down at the same time and hold forward, you go way faster. So I'm basically just going to hold L1 and R1 the whole game. You have 3 main ways to attack. One is this like missile charge, which is where you hold down the attack button for a few seconds. One is just like a machine gun where I just mash square a lot. And another is the grenade. You can see in the bottom right corner I have 2 grenades. I actually picked one up at the start of that level. For the most part, we save the grenades for the bosses because they eat away a lot of the health. And you see that just did like 6 or 7 bars worth of health. You can have up to 3 grenades at one time. In this first level, there isn't a 3rd grenade that's really anywhere near the main path. So it's not worth getting a 3rd one, but most levels will get extra grenades. Alright, that's the first mission. Very quick.
For For those of you who are like, I didn't even know this game existed, good. It's cool. Neither did I until I saw the submission for it.
Yeah, the first few times I streamed this, about 80% of my chat was, I've never seen this game before. I didn't know they made a Ghost in the Shell game.
They made two, actually.
Yeah, the PS2 one is like a third-person shooter. This one's a little more fun though, in my opinion. Alright, so this level's cool because it's got like a night vision section here, and I'm just running into walls, so you know, that's not good. Right, my health is terrible, so I'm actually gonna grab that health pickup. There are also health pickups scattered throughout the game. Certain ones give you more health back. Some give you like a tiny bit of health back. Some give you like half your health. Alright, so on this boss, when you stand in this river, it usually manipulates him to shoot you with the machine gun, which is extremely easy to dodge. Doesn't work all the time, as you can see, since he gave me this dumb blue laser attack. I also don't want to get too close to this boss, otherwise he'll shoot you with fire, which 1, does a lot of damage, and 2, causes an insane amount of lag. So you want to stay just far enough away from him to hit him with your attack, but if you're too far away, then you can't actually hit him with the machine gun. Alright, this is one of the more challenging levels. There are 3 areas, and you have to destroy all these little barrels in each area. And you can't hit them when you're really close to them, which makes this really annoying. So you could just get right up next to one and try and shoot it, but you can't actually hit it.
I enjoy when you can't fire at point-blank targets. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah, so I'm going to use the kind of the lock-on missiles in combination with just the regular gun throughout this level. And I'm actually going to use a grenade here because there's 7 barrels there. If I put the grenade in the right spot, I can get all 7. You see there's a good example of the range of the gun. Like I move both up towards it and away from it and hit it. So the cool thing with the movement in this game is you can actually like climb on walls and stuff. If you're not used to the game though, it can get disorienting really quickly because you'll just start climbing on walls and going all over the place. So you need to be a little careful. Okay, so now I'm on the boss fight here. So again, the general strategy on the boss fights is just press square a lot and then press circle every once in a while. These bosses don't have like weak spots or anything, you just pummel them. As long as you're constantly doing damage, that's good. You also have to generally watch your health, because if you die in this game, you have to redo the whole mission, which is generally not good. Actually, it's always not good. This guy doing this attack is annoying, because it's really hard to hit him when you hit like his feet. So there's 3 missions now. Alright, this is the first auto-scroller. In these auto-scrollers, the key is to minimize the amount of damage you're taking, also minimize the amount of objects you bump into. And you're also going to want to pick up any grenades that are on the way. So there's a grenade over here. Right there. Tried to kill that guy. It's really not that hard. It's super easy to dodge this guy's shots if you just let him shoot the first one, then he gets behind you, and then you can just use the sound effect of him shooting to know when to jump, and he'll avoid you. It's really easy. Okay, I got that one. So my health is good here. This boss is one of the more annoying ones to kill quickly. There are 2 tiny boats and 1 big boat. You need to destroy at least one of the tiny boats before you can hit the big boat. So I'm gonna try and pummel this guy. There we go. Now I'm just gonna ignore the other one and just go straight for the head ship here. So if possible, you want to get in front of the big ship here, because you can just constantly run into it and do damage. Like, I'm in a good position here if you... Yeah, so that was... Well, and then I wasted a grenade, so that was bad. Now I have low health, so now I have to play this really safe. Please don't kill me. Okay. Whew. Again, if I died, I would have had to do the whole auto-scroll over again, so... Very not good. Alright. So mission 5, this is like a escort auto-scroller. You're escorting this enemy that you're killing to different areas of the map. You can only do so much damage per zone here. I got a little unlucky here. He attacked me twice. If you have a good reaction on that first grenade, when he gives you the laser there, you can actually prevent him from attacking you twice. So now I just have to wait for him to get to this area. There's nothing I can do to make him come faster, so I just destroy these enemies that are in my way, and I just wait for him. There it is. Okay, that attack is a little faster than the other attack, so that's not that bad.
I'm seeing so many people who said they had this or played this when they were a kid, and that actually straight up shocks me.
This game,
the sheer amount of people.
This game only sold 100,000 copies, and it sold more copies in Japan than it did in the US, which is extremely rare for any game, especially a PS1 game. Okay, so I timed that grenade perfectly, so he only gave me one attack there. So that's the attack. I don't really want to slow, but again, hit him with the grenade. So I collected a bunch of grenades kind of throughout that. You don't really want to save grenades for here, because the variance is in him moving to the other zones. When you're in the last zone, you can just pummel him, so you don't really care what he does here. So now I'm just going to stay back and dodge these lasers. It was really good, actually. There was like not really any time that I wasn't hitting him, which is really rare for that. Alright, now we have another auto-scroller. This is the last auto-scroller, don't worry. So, this would be a good time if anyone... I have the chat open, so if anyone has any questions about the run, I will try my best to answer them while I'm semi-paying attention to the game here.
Actually, out of curiosity, would you like to share how you end up happening upon this game, like, as a speed game?
Yeah, sure. So, a friend of mine, Kane of Pocky, showed me this game at the last AGDQ. He is a connoisseur of PS1. So, he showed me this game and thought I would like it, because I actually ran Jumping Flash at that AGDQ, and this game is made by the same team. So, he was like, hey, you should like this game. And, I picked it. I played it casually at AGDQ, and my first playthrough was maybe a little over an hour. The game is not very long, and then I just looked for a cheap copy on eBay. Just as a recommendation, if anyone is trying to, is interested in this game, the Japanese version costs about $15, and the American version costs about $100. So I would not recommend buying the American version, but if you have a copy of the American version, you get some good money for it.
Also apparently makes for a good speed game, so you could always do that too.
Yeah. Alright, so there are multiple diverting paths on this auto-scroller. The path I'm taking is the path that has the grenades. So that's why you want to take it. And then there's a bunch of health pickups, and so now I have 3 bombs and full health. Alright. This guy works in 3 phases. And he's really quick. So for the second phase, I charge missiles because I'm a little too far away to hit him with the machine gun. And when this guy drives away, just bang into him and kill him.
There's a couple of questions that are actually interesting in chat. The first one that I think is pretty simple. Do you only play as this mech? I think
yes,
you do.
That is correct. Yeah, you only play as the mech.
Yeah, the PS2 game is a third-person adventure game.
Yeah.
And if you're actually interested in seeing the PS2 game, stay tuned in a couple of weeks for the next episode of NBS. I may or may not be having that on board. But the other one is, like, is there any particular speed tech to this game, like, that isn't super obvious, like, just from watching the run?
There is. This level is not a great level to explain it, though. I'll try and explain it in the next level.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, I probably should have already explained it because I've already used it like 50 times, but it doesn't. You don't use it in this level at all.
Okay.
So. Okay, so this level is pretty similar to the first one, in that you have to run around the area, find a certain number of things, and then fight the boss. The strategy for this boss is if you stay in front of him, he does this flame attack, which is really easy to dodge. He has a lot of other attacks that are very laggy and annoying. This is one of those. Yeah, here's some lag, but he's dead anyway, so. What level is this? Oh, it's this one, okay. This is like the this isn't a good level to explain the speed tech either. Alright, I'll have to hold off for another level. Because this level is like, the level itself is extremely short. It's the shortest level. So this is another level where you actually use a grenade during the level. You just grenade that room and you can go straight through without even slowing down. Nice. It's pretty hard to get through that area without getting thrown off course. Alright, so now you're fighting another mech here. The key with this mech is it wants to get on the walls, so you need to strafe and get right in front of it and like face it head on, and then it won't get on the wall. Yeah, see, so it would have gone on the wall there if I wasn't directly in front of it. That was really good. This game does have a banger of an OST. Alright. So this level actually has a skip in it too. It's the only level with a skip. But I'll explain another speed tech. So one of the things you can do in this game is if you jump on top of an enemy and like kind of slide off the top of it, it actually pushes you forward. So you can kind of see it there. I'll try and line up for this one. There. Sometimes if you're not directly on it, it'll push you off to the side, which is tricky in like narrow corridors, but yeah, you use that all over the place. If there's an enemy in your path, you're trying to land on them. I don't want to wall climb there, just want to fall down. Alright, so here's the skip. This elevator's an auto-scroller. You can just jump over it. That is extremely easy to do. I know people hate when you say things are free, but there's like an enormous amount of leeway on that jump. I think on my casual playthrough, I got that on my second attempt. So it's very, very easy. All right, so this boss is a little different. There are 8 pillars, and each one you destroy, this thing in the middle, whatever the heck it is, gets more aggressive with attacking you. And so what the strategy I'm going to use is I'm going to go around weakening these. There's 3. This is number 4. And then I'm basically just going to run around and destroy all of them at once. But I'm actually going to destroy this one. gonna shoot this one a few times and grenade it. I'm gonna shoot that one a few times and grenade it. And now I can just strafe around the room and finish these off before he gets aggressive.
So, like, what are the controls like? Are they tank controls like with a D-pad, or do you use the analog stick for this?
My controller has no analog. I'm a firm believer in the original PS1 controller, so I use the D-pad.
Okay, so like, is it like literal tank controls considering the mech you're in?
I'll be honest. It's kind of hard to say just because you're always strafing, so it's like a little weird. But I am always holding up, I guess, to move forward. So
yeah,
I guess, yeah,
that makes sense then.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like clunky, I guess is the thing, is especially when you're holding all the strafe buttons, it feels really smooth. So. Ooh, yeah. See, there's what I'm talking about with disorienting. Like I went in the wrong spot there and just was on the ceiling. My health is pretty good here. This boss is by far the most annoying boss in the game. There's two guys that fly around and both attack you. And so you generally want to just kill one of them first. Because they're both attacking you at the same time. So I'm getting a lot of really good damage on this guy though. Ooh. Getting a lot of really good frame rate as well. Oh, already destroyed that guy. Okay, this is actually really good. Sometimes these guys just teleport, like, they move immediately after you hit them with a bullet, and it's just extremely obnoxious. This has been really good, though. That was very good.
Nice.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure when you use the grenade here, you can hit them both with the same grenade if they're really close to each other, so that's why I try and or put the grenades where I put them. Alright. Second last level here. So this level's got some pretty tricky movement. There's a lot of, like, air vents that you're climbing in and stuff, and it's really easy to get turned around if you run into a corner or something, so, like here in particular.
Like, this game looks genuinely smooth and just really fun to play.
It is. Oh, alright, I have no idea where I am. Okay, hold on. See, this is what I'm talking about. Alright, so I came in from here, so that means... Hold on, I'm just gonna... Because if you... Okay, so I came in from here. I'm just gonna reset here. There we go. Okay, now I'm going the right direction. Right into that thing that dropped bombs on me. Okay, that was extremely slow. I was actually probably on pretty good pace until that point, because the record has a really bad boss fight with those two guys, but whatever. Alright, so this boss, the first attack, this attack, he cannot hit you if you're just right up next to him, so you can just slide right up to him for free and just wail on him. This guy has two phases, so I'll try not to die immediately. He's like 2 bars away from transitioning. There it is. Alright, 1 level left, and this has the most difficult platforming in the whole game. When I played this game casually, this level alone probably was a third of the casual playthrough. Let's hope I just nailed the movement though, because it looks so sick if you get it right. But it looks like you look like an idiot if you screw it up. Oh, we've done it. All right, we're in there.
Nice.
All right, my health is low, so I'm gonna get that health pick up. Alrighty, final boss time. So this guy is really inconsistent in the second phase, which is the most important one. So this first phase, he does all kinds of stuff, and who cares? But in the second phase, he'll start teleporting all around, and that's not good because it's just time you can't hit him. Oh, this is perfect. Okay, so if you get him to teleport into the side of the arena, he just sits here, and so now I can just pummel him. This is extremely uncommon.
Nice. Let's go.
That was really good. That happens, I'll say, 1 in 10. You get him to you can get him to do that sometimes later, but I got him to do it immediately. That's super uncommon. All right, and now we get this like super epic falling battle where you just hold the strafe button and mash square, and this guy can't hit you. So time is coming up very shortly when this guy's health is gone.
Oh god, that is genuinely dizzying.
Yeah. And time. It was a really good section too. There was like 11.3 on the clock still. That's really good.
GG on that.
There's Ghost in the Shell. What was the final time on that, by the way? I'm gonna guess like 23:15. Well, that's 7 seconds off world record. 22:42 is the record. If I hadn't farted around in that one tunnel, I would have easily had it. Darn.
Wow, that's still a really good run.
I would have had it by like 10 seconds if I didn't screw up in that one tunnel. That's unfortunate.
Big GG's though.
I got a 22:45 while I was practicing yesterday, so I'll take that. That's pretty darn good. Yeah.
Yeah, like that was a really smooth run. Like, I think my only criticism of the game itself is like the camera can be a little nauseating.
Yeah.
But the game otherwise looks super smooth.
Yeah, and that's with the like getting a handle on the movement. If you screw up and you just start strafing up a wall, then you have no idea where you are, and the whole level is spinning around you, and you have no idea if you're on the ceiling or the floor or the wall or wherever you are, and it's just really easy to become disoriented if you're not careful.
Yeah.
It's like even like I haven't done like a ton of runs of this game, but it still happens. So. But yeah,
so
I'll take it. That was
so if people want to find out more about you or more about the game, where would they go? Tell the lovely people where they can find you.
They would go to twitch.tv/Joester98, where I run a lot of, as I like to call them, B- PS1 games. They're above average PS1 games that you've never heard of, that are 30 minutes long. So if that genre interests you, or if this game interests you, seeing as I just did a marathon run and was barely off the record, I'll probably keep playing it and knock the time down a little bit. So definitely stop by. And if you want to learn this game, there is a Discord. It's actually, I kind of coupled this game into the Jumping Flash Discord because it's made by the same team and, kind of the same community. There is only really one other person who runs this game. Who has done a run of this game since like 2013. So if you're interested in a short-ish PS1 game that's pretty competitive at the high level, our times are pretty close at the top. Would recommend this. If you are interested in other PS1 mech games, I would recommend checking out the Armored Core games. PMC Trilogy does a bunch of runs of those, so check those out. And then another game that I also run that is a very cool mech game on the PS1 is Omega Boost, which has arguably the best soundtrack on the PS1. Is extremely good game, so check that one out as well. And then before the credits finish rolling here, my man is in chat. I want to give a shout out to my man Hummeldon, who recently put together a video about Pac-Man World speedruns, and that's the game that I think most people know me for. But he put together a great video explaining the whole run and stuff. So please check that out. That just came out earlier today. And then this is the bonus image you get for beating the game with 1 credit clear. This is actually the Japanese box art. So that's your little...
Oh, that's sick.
That's your little bonus image you get at the end. So... Oh, I got a high score. How about that?
And someone did ask, is emulator accepted for the leaderboards?
Yes, it is. There's a fairly detailed post regarding the rules around emulators and which emulators are allowed, so check that out before you accidentally do a run on the wrong one, and I have to reject your run. I don't want to have to do that, so...
and if you want to check out the SRC page, I'm going to go ahead and type that...
yeah, speedrun.com/gits, GITS. Yeah, there's...
Go ahead. Your Twitch channel in chat as well. I completely forgot to do that. What? I'm not allowed to post links anymore.
Oh.
Let's go.
Oh.
Thanks, Twitch. Anyways, follow Joester at twitch.tv/Joester98. It is awesome, like, that you run, like, B- PS1 games, because there's some really nice gems in there. Like, that they're not the best games ever, but they're still really, really cool.
Yeah.
And, if you were interested in this game, or if you're interested in seeing what the PS2 game looks like, stay tuned for the next episode. We're not done yet. We still have 2 more runs for you tonight, but for the next episode, there will be another Ghost in the Shell game that we're going to do the PS2 game for episode 5. But stick around.
Heck yeah.
We do have a couple of announcements before we go on the break. And again, thank you so much for doing this run and submitting it in the first place. This was really cool.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Hopefully, when the world stops ending and we can have in-person stuff again, and get this into a big-time event, and do it in front of the big crowd at the standard PS1 time slot of 5 a.m., my absolute favorite. So, looking forward to that. Yeah, thanks.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Several of the games I run, there are only, I'll say, like 3 or fewer times, and it's really nice to get the opportunity to get the game some exposure in front of a big crew, especially since a lot of people here hadn't even knew this game existed. So, yeah, if you're interested, check it out, and yeah, check out my channel as well, where I play this and similarly hot PS1 action.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and do our announcements before we lead into our break before our next run. So as always, as a reminder, all of GDQ's portion of subs, gift subs, Prime Gaming subs, and bits cheered on GDQ's Twitch channel after taxes for the month of January will be donated to the Prevent Cancer Foundation to follow up from AGDQ 2021. So we might still hit our $3 million total goal. Otherwise, our total at the end of AGDQ 2021 was 2.77 million, so there is still time to keep raising money for PCF. And then, as always, GDQ Hotfix is a series of shows that happens every week here on Games Done Quick. My show in particular is bi-weekly, but there are other shows every other Wednesday that mirrors Mercy Kill and I. So check those out. And if you want information on all of our Hotfix shows as well as our schedules, that is available at gamesdonequick.com/hotfix, so take a look at that as well. So we're going to go ahead and move into our break, and we'll be right back with Draco Dan running Astro Boy Omega Factor on the GBA. It's a really cool game. You don't want to miss this. Hello everyone, welcome back to episode 4 of Never Before Seen. My name is AmberCyprian, I am your host tonight, and we are bringing you even more runs of games that have never before been seen in mainline GDQ events. As always, if you happen to speedrun a game that has never been run in an AGDQ, SGDQ, or GDQx event, and if you'd like to submit it to the show, type !NBS into the chat. You'll find the link to be able to send me your runs, and I would love to have you on the show. But joining me tonight for our second run of the day, or the night, I'm great at time zones and like sense of time. I'm not. We have Draco Dan with Astro Boy Omega Factor, and this is going to be a really awesome run of a GBA game, nonetheless. So go ahead, introduce yourself, Draco, tell the lovely people who you are, and all that good stuff.
I mean, it's hopefully going to be an awesome run, but we'll see. That kind of remains to be seen. But yeah, what's up, y'all? I am Draco, as Amber introduced me. I run this game and other games, but I'm doing this game today, so very weird sort of intro. We will be doing just the basic any percent category. It is called birth, but you can basically just look at that as any percent. It's going to be, you know, flying around, going through cities, going to the Antarctic, going to the moon, travelling back in time, travelling forward in time, all that good stuff. It's pretty standard fare for a mech game. Oh, I get to make a file and I get to call it GDQ. Doesn't do anything, but I'm still going to do it. Oh, it does scroll. Okay, good. Alright, we're ready. File name GDQ. Easy difficulty, because you get a lot more super attacks. I will go into more detail about that as we go through the run, but just trust me, it's far better to run the game on easy. You can run it on hard if you want, but this is one of those games where it really does mean hard. And what is even my PB on hard mode? Something like 4 hours. I mean, look at the estimate here, my hard PB is something like 4 hours, so yeah, that gives you a bit of a comparison. But I'm pretty much ready to go whenever you all are.
We are ready.
Alright. So I'm going to get started in 3, 2, 1, go. So our prologue has us dying, and then we get reborn as a robot. The basic premise of this game is that Astro is a robot which was created by Dr. Tenma to replace his dead son, who died in a car accident. But then Tenma's like, damn, this robot's nothing like my son, I don't like him anymore, and then he like abandons you, and then we just do lots of stuff. So stage 1 is just city-based, and what you're seeing now is going to be the backbone of how this game progresses in general. This is a beat-em-up game, it's a treasure game, so you know it's a really good beat-em-up game. And most of what we're going to be doing is dispatching enemy waves as quickly as we can. Good enemy spread there. There is a decent amount of RNG in this game with how some of the enemy placements can come. Some of them are fairly static, such as the locations that these ones are dropping down are random, but they're going to come in a set pattern. This screen is a reset point for me. Right now, if I was doing a run, I'd be resetting right now because that car's going to hit me and lose me a couple of seconds. I reset over that very, very frequently. It's pretty much a 50% chance for that to happen. We break this window and we meet a character and get our first upgrade point. So you can see there's a bunch of stats that you have to upgrade in this game, and you're going to be upgrading the laser stat almost exclusively for the early game. You've got plenty of ways to deal damage in this game. You can punch, you can kick, the kick being really useful because you can send enemies flying across the screen and then they will inflict damage on enemies they hit and take them with. You've got the laser, you've got a couple of super attacks, first of which I'm using right now, the machine gun, which is used with L. It's a screen-wide attack which does very little damage, but on very populated screens it's very good for crowd control, so if there's a bunch of weak enemies you can clear them all simultaneously with the machine gun. You're going to see the attack on R a lot when we're in boss fights. That's the arm cannon, it's the big super laser. That's the main thing we're going to be using to deal with bosses throughout the game. And the third super attack, I am never going to use if I can help it. It's the EX dash, which you use with a simultaneous A and B press. And when I say simultaneous, I mean you literally need to press A and B on the same frame. So it's actually not that easy to trigger on command. And I think a lot of people play this game without even really using it or remembering it's there because, yeah, it's tricky to execute. And it's basically just a dashing attack which gives you an additional jump. It's situational useful if you need another jump, but ideally you should never need more jumps than you just natively have. You could have seen on the upgrade screen that more jumps is something you can give yourself. One of the stats you can upgrade is jets. And the old route for this game actually did put the first upgrade point into jets to boost mobility, because the boost also makes you go slightly faster. But after some rerouting, I did conclude that it is overall faster to just boost your firepower with laser as much as possible. And so we're meeting the second character, getting a second upgrade here, which I'm again going to put into laser. And now I'm going to use the task strat for this boss. I say task strat, but it is... I mean, I just messed it up. It is very mechanically simple though. This is just a 4-phase boss fight where one punch and an arm cannon with 2 points in the laser stat will deal with each phase.
Oh, wow.
And this is... I've timed this out when I was when I've been developing the tasks in the past, and this is literally the fastest way you can deal with this fight. So pretty convenient that it is that simple and that quick. So we're going to be going into stage 2, and starting off with a auto-scroller section. There are some auto-scroller segments in this game, And the laser isn't fully upgraded yet, so I am having to periodically press the B button to keep it initiated, which is a little bit irritating, but then once you do get it fully upgraded, you can just keep the B button held down, and it will just keep the laser on at all times, which is really nice. So these sections are going to be entirely about trying to clear the waves as quickly as possible. When in these auto-scroller segments, pretty much the constant rule is that the next wave starts when the previous wave is off screen. So the faster I can kill enemies and get them off screen, the faster I'm going to be able to progress through these sections. So even though they are auto-scrollers, I am still trying to optimize them as much as possible. A little trick I'm using here is look very carefully at the laser placement. You can see I can wiggle it around a little bit there. So when I'm trying to aim at the top and bottom of the screen respectively, I can actually influence the laser position a little bit to hit enemies a couple of frames sooner. This is a game where, because the fundamentals and the mechanics are at their core simple enough, and there is quite a bit of buffering you can do, the optimization ceiling for this game is extremely high. Like, I commonly cite this game as a good beginner game. Like, if someone wants to get into speedrunning and they want an easy-ish game to try, this I think is a very good candidate game. It's relatively easy to just play, it's not punishing when you make mistakes, and it's pretty easy to get a grasp of, and the fact that it is as fundamentally simple at its core as it is means that, yeah, you can just have fun with it, and you can really squeeze a lot more time than you would think by just trying to optimize the little things as much as possible. Like, there are a lot of frame savers in this game. This is a game which really doesn't have many glitches and skips to speak of. There are no skips, and there is one, I guess you could call it a glitch, which is more like a physics exploit, which I'll use a few times, but this is much more of a game that's just based on fundamentals. It's just solid movement, trying to be as optimal as possible, buffering a lot of inputs, like I say, and also skipping text a bit faster than I'm doing right now, ideally. Positioning is hard. Trying to hit that as it was taking off, so yeah. So kind of an example of what I mean there, that like, based on the fastest possible kill I could have got there, that wasted a couple of seconds, which in a game that doesn't have huge skips, that is a non-trivial amount of time to lose, as well as the fact that I lost my downwards momentum there from falling in the wrong place. A lot of little things like that. Now, I'm getting my third upgrade here. There is an extra upgrade point directly above me, which I skipped. There are some optional upgrades you can get in this game, but part of the fun with timing this game and routing this game is figuring out if it is overall faster to take certain upgrade points, and from the testing that I've done, I don't think it is faster to take the point that I just skipped. It's just a little too far out the way in my opinion. There is an optional in the next screen which I'm going to get, which kind of like the very first upgrade I got in the game, you have to interact with a certain part of the background, and it is an auto-scroller, so I actually have to hit the right part of the background at the right time. This is extremely missable. Though if it's an emergency, like making a mistake like that, I can just use the machine gun to bail out. And I'm just going to use two to make sure I do not miss this. There we go. So the reason I'm getting upgrades is because I am discovering characters, and the lore behind this is that Astro has been built so that he grows and develops by meeting people, learning about people's personalities and emotions. This is what makes Astro grow, and essentially gives you upgrade points to boost your stats. Right, I'm gonna go for... It's not a dangerous strat here, but this has like, I don't know, like a 3-frame window? I'm not exactly sure. If you go onto the border of the screen like that, turn around and use an arm cannon right as the robots are falling on top of you, there is a very brief window where you can get it off before they contact you. You gain some temporary intangibility and you just kill them without taking damage. There's a lot of little things like that. So here is a boss fight against Book, another robot who turns into 4 different animal forms. He's always going to cycle through the 4 different forms he has to start with, and then he's going to randomly choose forms to go back to after going through all 4 of these forms. So once the random phase starts, which is now, I want to see the lion as little as possible. So of course I get it immediately. Every time the lion spawns, there's that green energy field surrounding it, which gives him some invulnerability, so it's very bad. He can choose to go back to it now, so let's see it. Let's see the bad RNG. Alright, but that's fine. The fish form is actually more dangerous than it looks. Like, that boss fight looked really trivial, But the only reason that it was quote-unquote easy is because I've been boosting the laser stat. And speaking of which, we're not going to boost the laser this time, put 1 point into shot. But boosting the laser like I have been the whole way, you get really, really strong with this attack and you just burn through bosses really quickly. Like, the bosses don't have time to really display any of the mechanics they actually do. With the fish form, the previous boss being, it immediately digs under the floor and then you waste a lot of time waiting for it to come up and it's very erratic and difficult to hit. But by boosting the laser and just immediately forcing switches like that, you bypass so many boss mechanics in this game and save so much time. So a nice little strat here, which was found by Sonicu Star, is this section has a bunch of these robots which I need to kill to get the screen to unlock, but by staying at the bottom there for a few seconds, I can force them all to kind of accumulate at the top border of the screen, and just cluster them up and take them out a lot faster than I probably would be able to on average by just jumping around and randomly guessing where they're going to be. So there's a rare instance where I actually needed to use the EX dash, because I only have one extra jump because I've got no points in jets, and I didn't have enough height there to make it onto that platform, so it was either fall all the way down and jump back up again, or use an EX dash to gain an extra jump. So yeah, that was a simultaneous AMD input there. Nice screen-wide attack there. Something you may be seeing is that the jets are not only useful for mobility, the really nice thing about the jets in this game is that it gives you complete intangibility. While you are boosting, you are not considered a solid object, and you can both move through enemies and not actually be damaged by basically any damage source in this game. So you have completely free reign to move, and in cases where you would come out of a boost and be inside another hitbox, either you or that other hitbox has to move aside. So in some of the later stages, there's going to be a lot of cases where I'm actually using the boost so that I can get on the opposite side of an enemy that's on like the border of the screen. And then once I finish the boost, if I'm further to the border of the screen, the enemy has to move inwards because it can't occupy the same space as me. So I'm going to be exploiting that a lot so that I can get screen-wide attacks by pushing an enemy on screen and then turning around. Alright, so this is a really, really strange room. I can't see very well here because I don't have any points in the hyper sensor. I'm going to get an optional upgrade point here. This does take a bit of time to get, but this saves time for the strangest reason. This room with the plasma particles, I can't see anything. If I had the points in the sensor, I would be able to see. Now, these, I think, rather than just a layer, this does cause like more objects or something to be on screen. So if I were to go into this section that I'm in right now, without picking up that upgrade point that I just collected, this section would be lagging like crazy. I don't know why. I don't know why the game behaves like that, but I swear the way to not get lag in this section is to take the upgrade point I just got. So even though it takes some time to get the upgrade point, it saves its own time back by reducing lag, and then it makes you stronger to boot. It's way faster for no good reason. The way that you can see how the game is lagging right now, this is what that previous section would have been like if I hadn't taken the upgrade point. It's really, really strange, but apparently it's a thing. Okay, so that's the one little physics exploit I mentioned before that I would be using, where if you horizontally boost against a diagonal surface, also I'm going to despawn these enemies and progress quicker. Yeah, so if you boost against a diagonal surface with a horizontal boost, I think it's pretty much just a case of the game can't actually make you move horizontally, so it adds your horizontal speed to your vertical speed, something odd like that. It makes you move up the slopes a lot faster. You're going to see a good example of it here once I get past the next enemy wave with the purple robots. Once the screen unlocks, I'm just going to boost against the slope. It's going to push me up it really fast. Like, you can move faster than the screen scrolls there. Third boss fight, I'm just going to use 2 arm cannons to get past phase 1, getting into half health already. I'm telling you, you get super, super powerful when you are boosting the laser this much. Now, phase 2 of the fight, I'm going to push Atlas into a specific position, let him boost to the right, and then I'm going to hit him from the left, and he should end where the fight began, which is going to reduce the cutscene time, because after this cutscene ends, they return to their original positions. Wow, pixel perfect. Let's go. Neither of them, that was literally pixel perfect. Oh my god. All right. So Now we're at the South Pole. We were on the moon before, by the way. Now we're at the South Pole. I told you, like, there's a lot of stuff that goes on in this game. There is a lot of storyline in this game, and I'm not even going to try and bother to explain the storyline that's going on, because it's enough to keep up with the mechanics and what's actually going on with the speedrun itself. All you need to know is we're in the South Pole, we've met the first robot president, then a human terrorist group destroyed him because they don't like robots, and now we're fighting the human terrorist group. That's literally what's going on here.
So, is this laser this OP in higher difficulties?
It is, but the main catch of the high difficulties is the only reason I'm able to spam this laser right now is if you look in the like top center of the screen where I've got the super meter and I've got my number of supercharges. You build meter really quickly on this difficulty and you can store a lot of supercharges. If you play this on hard difficulty, by contrast, the super meter does not build while you are using a super attack, so you can't make it refund itself, and you can only store 3 super attacks total. So you have to be really selective about when you are using it. It's one of the main reasons that we run on easy difficulty. It's much faster by virtue of the fact that you can use full firepower at all times. And it's one of the main reasons why hard is so hard. I mean, you take a lot more damage on hard difficulty, stuff like kills you in a couple of hits. But the fact that you only have 3 super attacks, the machine gun attack is very useful as a survivability tool, because while you are using the machine gun, you are, just like while you're boosting, completely intangible. You can't be hurt by anything. And it's screen wide, it removes all obstacles, it stuns enemies for a brief time, so even though you barely have any supercharges on hard difficulty and you would really like to use the laser, there are some cases where you are basically forced to use the machine gun just to survive, and then you've got even fewer points that you can be using the laser with. So on hard difficulty, you get to see a lot more of the boss patterns, because there's a lot of actually like physically maneuvering and actually taking care to dodge their attack patterns and such, and using your regular movements and boosts to get out of the way and stuff. Like, the hard difficulty is a lot more involved, but believe me when I say there is a reason that no one has actually ran it. It is really, really difficult.
Yeah, no, that sounds like it, honestly.
It's something I should probably do at some point, like try and root out strats for each of the boss fights so I can actually kind of consistently do them and not just get bodied in 2 hits by most fights. But yeah, it's pretty tricky. Alright, so as you can see in the auto-scroller, we're almost at the end of this auto-scroller already. I'm going to be coming up to, in a couple of waves time, the stage 4 boss, which is going to be like a big nuclear tank that is for some reason shaped like a beetle. I don't know, like a scarab, I guess. Yeah. It's called Carabs, which is scarab backwards, so that. So I'm going to start this by boosting towards the rear of it, then using an arm cannon. The head is the weak spot, so I've got to get the head on screen before I can actually hit it. I've got time to use 1 more arm cannon, then I'm going to take a deliberate damage boost in its body, use my finger laser to get down 1 more bar of its HP, and then 1 more arm cannon will finish it off. And by using that invulnerability time with the finger laser, I can avoid taking damage in extra time, because then it's weak enough to finish off with 1 more super. So that right there is a good example of when I used the intangibility for my boost so that I could get behind that enemy and then force it on screen. That's the exact sort of thing I'm referring to. So that enemy was on the very left edge of the screen, but by boosting past it, you can force it to move inwards, and then by turning around, everything is on the same side. So then you can just use a screen-wide attack like the arm cannon, which is super, super powerful, and it kills everything in its path. Okay, not the best enemy spawn patterns here, but that's fine. I'm going to do the same thing here, just boost past this red guy, turn around. There's going to be a lot of this on these stages, trust me. So I got a little bit of kick damage there. I deliberately used a full punch and kick combo. If you do a punch combo, it's 3 punches followed up by a kick, and then when the kick occurs, it forces the enemies that are susceptible to stagger to travel across the screen. And when they contact other enemies, they actually inflict damage to those enemies. Whoops, I'm gonna get hit. Yeah. Not much I can do about that once I'm locked into the super. But by having the other enemies that were clustered on top of the red enemy fly across the screen, there was actually a brief moment where they did additional damage to it, so I was able to kill it a bit sooner by using a punch combo first, because those red enemies are actually quite a bit bulkier than they look. The ranks of enemies in this game are generally determined by the coloration of them, with red and purple enemies being considerably tougher, and they don't stagger when you hit them. So another auto-scroller, so I'm once again going to be trying to clear off stuff as soon as possible. These flying platforms are a big nuisance because they like bob up and down, they're a bit random, and as you can see, you can waste a bit of time trying to take care of them there. Like, those probably one of my least favourite enemies to take in general in this game, but not so much you can do about it. Alright, so these guys, just wheel up and down. Okay, very good. Then continue to weave up and down, and oh yeah. So although these large platforms are pretty bulky, in that instance it's not worth using an arm cannon to take care of them because the presence of other enemies on the screen means that the wave wouldn't end as soon as those platforms died anyway. And even though the arm cannon is as powerful as it is, I'm still trying to be selective when to use it on non-boss fights because, as you can see, every time you use it, there is a large startup animation. Like, it costs a couple of seconds to initiate a super attack. So if I don't need to use it, I don't want to use it. So I'm not going to use it here to take care of these platforms. These ones are quite a bit tougher, so I do use a super attack to take care of these. And consequently, due to the startup time, this mini-boss here is another potential run killer. Like, if I'm just doing, PB attempts, this is a potential run killer because I'm gonna just spam arm cannons to get it down. But the second phase of this boss, which when I destroy this bottom part is gonna start here, there's a few different attacks this guy can use, and the weak point stays open for different amounts of time, depending on what he uses. So that was a not good attack, so now I have to use a second arm cannon. That's a really bad attack, so now I have to use another arm cannon. Like, yeah. So basically, depending on the attacks that guy uses, it can force you to use more arm cannons than you strictly want to use, so it can cost time. It's like a couple of seconds every time you use an arm cannon. Now, just in the interest of being super safe and showing an Easter egg that maybe some people didn't know, you can get some health back here. Like, you can actually travel a little bit backwards in the train like that and get a little bit of extra health if you're a bit low. So for this section, I am going to, get hit, that's one way to reach the side of the screen, and just continue to use arm cannons to take care of these waves as quickly as I can. I hope, yeah, I should be on the right border. Yeah, there we go. These waves are a little bit simpler. I'm deliberately going to use a damage boost from the guns, and then just boost to the right. These guys don't punch, so they won't, well, they do, but I'll get hit by the energy gun first, so I won't take the recoil. And the timing lines up pretty well, so that by the time I've actually taken that damage boost and then boost to the right, all 6 of the enemies should have had time to spawn on screen, so that I will actually be able to hit them all, and then cluster them in the same place. This is just going to be used for offense. This giant mech is going to look like it's going to attack me, but then it's going to die just before it hits me. And I started attacking here only after scrolling the screen to the right a bit, so that the main boss, Dead Cross, doesn't get pushed off screen by the arm cannon. Because if an enemy is off screen, you can't damage them. So if you don't scroll the screen there, your arm cannon just pushes him off, he stops taking damage, and then he'll counter-attack off the screen. It's pretty good. So now we go back like 10,000 years in time, maybe 30,000 years, I'm not sure. I need to revisit the lore of this game, but we're back in time. Like, just take my word for it. Just don't ask questions, just take my word for it. So how about that video game, eh? Ooh, that was good. Okay, this wave can be pretty irritating, actually, that sometimes the enemies on the very right really do not want to cooperate with being pushed on screen. And these enemies in particular can be doubly irritating since the shields that they carry are not decorative. They can just sometimes decide to put up their shields, and while they are like that, you cannot damage them with basically anything. So that took a little longer than I wanted to. Hopefully these guys get forward. Okay, good. Didn't get as many hits on the purple enemy with them as I wanted, but good enough. jump, boost through this large guy, turn around, use an arm cannon, and then one finger laser, not a second arm cannon, just because it's a little bit faster. And now we get a lot of horizontal boosting up the slope. If these wheels contact me while I'm not intangible, they will give me a lot of recoil, and it is pretty irritating. So we do our earnest to avoid that. Now, this boss fight used to be terrible in runs, because this guy has a couple of different special attacks he can use that are basically color-coded. The green attack is really, really bad because he uses a very long attack which you cannot damage him during, and this used to kill a lot of runs. Like, you would lose, like, if this guy triggered his green attack, you would lose, like, 15 seconds, upwards of 15 seconds. And I realized that he can only use one color-coded attack at one time, so you can force him to use the red attack by doing what I did there, which is going below him as the fight starts. Like, that's the trigger for him using the red attack, for you to be underneath him for whatever reason. And then whilst that attack is in progress, he can't use his time-wasting attack. So that made the fight way more consistent. And now we're in the last stage, which is just a boss rush. It's just going to be 5 bosses back to back. This is north, first of all. So I'm going to use this position here to force him to use his own laser cannon, firing to the right. But as long as I'm in the arm cannon animation, even if I was inside the laser beam there, it wouldn't damage me, and that's enough damage to finish him off. Now, you'll notice that the next stat I've been upgrading is the shot. That is the screen-wide machine gun, which I've been using a couple of times, and I mentioned that it is really weak and doesn't really do a lot. So why am I upgrading this? I'm upgrading this because a weird property of the shot is that the more it's upgraded, the more stun time you get on bosses. This guy, Denko, is supposed to be a long boss fight where you hit him, he turns invisible, then you need to knock out the generators to turn invisible again. But if you keep him locked down with the shot, you can just infinite him at the start there. And this is going to be the pattern with the rest of the bosses, which is really convenient for this guy, Bruntus, because he bounces around, wastes a lot of time, and there's only short intervals where he is actually vulnerable, such as when his core comes out here. But again, by using the shot, I'm gonna just end the fight in this cycle here. At this point, with the shot being leveled up where it is, I get to use 2 lasers per shot, so every 2 uses of the laser, I'm having to use shot to refresh the stun time, and he's not gonna go back into his invulnerable state. Okay, so as long as I use the arm cannon being at least 1 pixel off the floor, that will hit. So pretty clean fights. We've only got 2 fights left, Epsilon and Pluto. 1 more point in shot. Whoops, wrong start. And by the way, you cannot reassign upgrade points in this game, so if you want to be super optimal with your menuing, you need to be really, really careful, because if you put a point into the wrong stat, it's there for good. You can't reassign it. So be really careful about where you're putting your stat points. So I use the shot here first, so that I can see which attack Epsilon is starting off with. Epsilon can use a couple of different attacks, which is telegraphed by which arm he raises at first. And because he's going for his own laser attack, which makes him invulnerable, I'm just keeping him, again, locked down with shot to try and get it as fast as possible. Now, final fight, all stats are upgraded, so just put it into life, it's the fastest, and this is going to be Pluto. Now, I can use shot to keep him locked down, but I don't want to if I don't have to. It's not as high damage, and this can be a laggy fight, so if the screen is lagging, and I'm needing to lengthen the fight by using weaker attacks, that has a compounding effect of losing time. So I'm just going to be using the arm cannon as much as possible, shot only in exceptional circumstances, like he starts using his plasma attack, which he's not doing. Okay, that's the fire attack. Time is when Pluto's health runs out, by the way. So once his health bar at the bottom left reaches 0, that is time. Yes, Epsilon is a he. The game files do confirm that Epsilon is in fact now. So I'm just going to finger laser to finish him off, and time.
GG.
I have no idea what my time was, but that felt like a pretty decent run, so hopefully it was like not a 29 or something. Yeah, that's pretty okay. That's not too bad. I'm pretty okay with that. No, 1732, see? You guys don't know what you're talking about. 1732, the game said so. That's like world record by like 9 minutes. Alright, let's go. And then stuff happens, and then the world gets destroyed. And then, yeah, that's what happens in the new game leg of this run. And then you've got to, you know, you get resurrected, and you're going through time. You get to transcend the timeline, and you, like, you know, fixing the timeline and doing all this stuff, and it's really confusing. But it's a very good game, and, like, honestly, if you like what you see here, definitely try and pick this game up if you can. Give it a go. It's really good. Controls are really good. It's nice and simple to get into. It's really pretty, in my opinion. Like, I think the graphics in this game are lovely for a GBA game. It's just overall a really nice time.
Awesome. So if you're if the lovely people would like to find you or find, you know, more of the video game, I've already sent the MBS info command into chat, which gives you the speedrun.com page for Astro Boy. But where can people find you, Draco?
Twitch.tv/DracoDan. Or on, these days, on WoW Classic on the Azure Song US server, probably.
That's entirely fair. That was an awesome run, by the way. Like, this is the only game of the 3 that we're showing tonight that I'd actually heard of and had played even, like, tangentially.
Oh, really?
And I was, like, really, really happy to be able to showcase this,
yeah.
and have you do it,
I'm very grateful for the opportunity to showcase this as well, because I've really enjoyed the time that I've spent in this game, and I think this is, like, a really, really good speed game when all is said and done. So I'm really glad to have the chance to finally show it to a wider audience, so thank you guys very much.
Yeah. And I really appreciate having you on the show as well. And if you ever end up with another game that you want to submit, by all means, send it my way. I'd love to have you back.
Yeah, I will think on it. Thank you very much. Probably will bombard you with some ideas sooner or later.
Oh, of course. But we're gonna go ahead and move to a break. We have one more run for y'all tonight. If you liked a Game Boy Advance game, we're gonna downgrade to the Game Boy Color. We have Keyzeron running Robopon Sun version. So if you ever wanted to play Pokemon, but it's all robots that you're raising and all that, this is the game for you. This is totally not a Pokemon game, I promise. Maybe. But, as a reminder, all of GDQ's portion of subs, gift subs, Prime Gaming subs, and bits cheered on the GDQ channel after taxes for the whole month of January will be donated to the Prevent Cancer Foundation to add to our end total of $2.77 million raised by AGDQ 2021 online. And then if you are watching on YouTube and would like to check our live content out, please consider checking out our Twitch channel at twitch.tv/gamesdonequick or GDQ. If you have an Amazon Prime account, that means you have Prime Gaming. And if you'd like to, you can subscribe to any Twitch channel of your choice every month for free. So if you've got that Prime sub burning a hole in your pocket, consider subbing to GDQ and support the hotfix content that we like to bring you throughout the year. That said, we will be right back right after this break. All right, everyone, welcome back. We're back from internet issues, hopefully part 1 and only part 1.
There's a windstorm here in the Pacific Northwest. It hasn't stopped yet. Also, if I could, I'd like some quick chat participation, if that's okay. Can everyone at TGH_SR and just send him any emote at all? It can be any that you want. Just spam him.
I fully endorse this. For those of you who don't know, okay. I live with TGH. He is across the room just giggling right now.
I bet I can picture his smug face right now. Okay, but yeah, as we were saying before, Wind decided to win, playing it on the English version for a couple of reasons. 1, censorship stuff. 2, we can actually understand what's going on. And, I know the whole point of Never Before Seen is you've never seen this ran at a GDQ before, but I want you to at least be able to see what's going on. That's also fair. But yeah, I guess with that, I'm pretty much just good to go. Hopefully no hiccups.
Thank you, chat.
Thank you, chat.
I'm ready to go.
All right, Etiquette, you get the honors.
I count us down. All right. So Robopon Sun in 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, so this is definitely not Pokemon.
I thought I signed you on
First
for
and forem-
Pokemon Sun version. What are you talking about?
Oh yeah, so yeah, the funny thing about that, right, is Sun and Moon are Pokemon games, but they were Robopon games first. Robopon Sun and Star came out, and then Robopon Moon came out, kind of like how Red, Blue, and Yellow have their, sister pairing, and then, the redheaded stepchild. But I can read the words.
I know.
I'm so confused.
This is crazy.
I never realized she encouraged us to visit our grandpa.
Well, he does have something for us, so.
He does. So yeah, pretty basic kind of RPG, like collection RPG. But the caveat is they're not monsters, they're robots. I know. The title's Robopon. I'm sure that was really hard to figure out. But here we are with robot Pokemon, pretty much. We'll get into the speed tech of everything in a sec, but in terms of lore, this is our grandpa who owns his name's Hoggle.
Apparently.
What?
I'm learning so much.
I don't understand. Oh, it's so weird seeing April instead. So, okay. Yeah. So this is our grandpa. He was testing out some robots. They both blew up. Apparently he's really bad. He's giving us his company right now. And his very last Robopon. So we're moving up in the world. It's a lot more progress than in Pokemon. Usually in Pokemon, your mom gives you like a small loan of like $30,000 or something, but we get a whole company. He also doesn't know our name. He asked if our name was Brian or Wally. The default name is Cody because, robots, code. There's going to be a lot of puns in this. It's going to be really, really painful at times.
I'm here for it.
But the text is like a weird, it's not instant for the first 2 or 3 frames, but it is instant if you keep mashing after that. So in the case of speed tech for naming yourself, unlike Pokemon where most of the older games you want to name yourself one character, it doesn't matter here. So you literally just mash B there and go with the default name. April as my birthday is really important because we just received Sunny, and Sunny is a terrible, terrible robot. And terrible stats, it's not going to get us very far. We actually go to our grandpa's rival here, Dr. Disc. And because our birthday's April, he gives us a certain robot. It's based on your birthday month. So April, August, and December, I think it is. You get this. So we now have Viggy. And Viggy isn't much better, but we're going to make Viggy better in just a sec. Much like in Pokemon Sword and Shield, specifically Shield, you catch a Growlithe in the wild area and use a Fire Stone immediately. We just got a Lost Code, which is essentially like an anything stone. But we're going to evolve our Viggy into Hogbot. So as soon as I see that, I want to see Hogchamp in chat. Just swapping Viggy up front. Dude, it's so weird seeing the names.
The game also has its own Pokedex, and take a look right under the runner's webcam. If you take a look under Case's webcam, we have our Pokedex entries, courtesy of our wonderful tech Richard. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I was actually just about to read the Viggy one. Maybe I'll wait until it's actually on the stream. It is
on the stream. I'm looking at it.
Okay. Yeah, it only dreams of being a hero, but it can't stick to its training. So we evolve it immediately to take advantage of the power upgrade that Hogbot gives.
So I didn't realize that menu was different. Etiquette, you were asking before if the menus are different. So if you turn off battle animations and speaker, in the Japanese version, it's 2 menus side by side and you press down on both of them. Whereas on this one, it's 2 menus that are stacked on each other and you press right. That was kind of weird. But yeah, so you saw me save and quit. So just like every single older Pokemon game, also, that's Screwy. He's a screw. I know, it's great. But just like every Pokemon game of yore, you can manipulate the game. And manipulating this game is actually stupid easy. So there's 2 different types of manipulation we do in this game. Both accomplish 2 different things. It helps us control the battle RNG, and it helps us control encounter RNG. But there's buffered manip, which is you literally save the game by exiting to the menu. And as soon as the screen turns white, you hold A, and it'll automatically pull up the first continue box. There are 2 boxes, just like Pokemon. But the way the RNG works is when you pull up that first box, that's when the RNG is determined. So you just frame perfect open the first menu before you load the game in, and you're going to get the same RNG every time. There's also another one called bufferless. Bufferless manip, which, yeah, that's exactly what it sounds like. You don't buffer. You instead wait at the title screen for like second and a half or two. And what that accomplishes compared to buffered manip is with buffered manip, the way that the seed determines encounters is you get an encounter within the first like 10 steps or something like that. Whereas the bufferless, you don't get an encounter for 200. So you'll see me do a mixture of both of them depending on what I need to accomplish. And the caveat about the manips is I need to have perfect movement for the most part, which is why the estimate's kind of as high as it is, because some of these manips, if I mess up the movement, it's maybe 10, 15 seconds that I lose, whereas some of them, there's so many things that I have to accomplish that I might lose up to 2 minutes.
Yeah, because some of the manips go through fights. So like you may not actually need to manip for the first or second fight that you do, but that third fight really requires a manip for either not taking too much damage or dealing enough damage, stuff like that. And it's also worth noting that bonking into a wall does count as messing up the movement. Sometimes bonking is going to be required for a manip. You want to take an extra step. So the bonk basically counts as an extra step. So you want to take an extra step. It's faster to bonk, so you can do that. But yeah, in general, the movement is pretty tight here.
And we did a handful of shops there. So one of them we bought ice software. Software is just moves. It's just like getting like poison sting or ice punch or something like that in Pokemon. Each robot, unless they are a boot type, is it? I can't remember. There's 3 different types of robots, but 2 of them you can attach software to and create sets of moves. And the cool thing about this game is the customization of it. So if you get like a fire software, you're obviously going to have fire as a move. But if you have fire and ice equipped, then they combine for another move as well. So you have fire available, you have ice available, and you have a move called Destroy, which you're going to see me use Destroy a lot. Like casually, like this game's really creative. It's just, if you can't tell already, everything's really slow and laggy.
Yeah, I think we were looking at it before we got on, and there's something like 200 combinations that you can make. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's really crazy. And like the biggest thing is the order will also matter. So I put ice in slot 2 and water in slot 3. It's literally just for the sake of just organizing everything. So through all that, with that first manipulation I did, we're still on the manipulation. So this fight should go just pretty basic. I should do 40 damage. If I see that I did 40 damage, I know that the manipulation's still going. If not, then it's fine. We don't have to reset over that. But yeah, we picked up that ice. We picked up something called ground escapes, which those are escape ropes. And we also upgraded our CPU. And the CPU kind of just boosts your stats a little more. So we went from 1 CPU to 2. That's really about it. So Etiquette mentioned bonking. We're actually going to bonk twice on this fight.
You just walk into her.
Yeah.
The battle screen reminds me really, really strongly of Animorphs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hudson Soft, what were you on about?
Yeah, so I think I saw someone in chat ask who made this. It was made by Hudson, who are the same people who made the TCG Game Boy game, which is why a lot of the assets look really similar and they didn't get sued out the wazoo.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
You know, like this is a real video game. It came out in the year 2000.
Yeah, and there's 3 versions. There's Sun, Star, and Moon. The interesting thing about Star is it's not interesting. The interesting thing about Moon is you actually can't do the same exact route in this. You actually use your starter the whole time, which the starter is this strange line where it goes from a Horsey ripoff to a Charmeleon ripoff to a Dragonite.
That's not a
It's
ripoff
pretty
though.
impressive.
That Dragonite is real.
No, it's totally original. Now, we just leveled up. That's our first level. The cool thing about leveling up in this game is it restores your HP and your software points, which, you know, software points are just your PP, just like in Pokemon. I forgot. AGDQ, we were talking about this.
Oh,
The
you
menu
can
wrap.
menu wrap. Look at this.
I can't. Okay. So AGDQ and I were talking about this before the show started. For whatever reason, in a Japanese version, there's no menu wrapping. So if you have to go to the bottom menu, like whether you're in the item bag, whether you're in the item bag, whether you're in the regular menu or anything like that, you have to go down all the way. Whereas in this one, you can just press up. That's so weird. I'm not used to it. I scrolled all the way down just to accidentally scroll back up.
Of all
Yeah, we did another manip there. Pretty basic.
of all the possible version differences that could have existed in this game, that's the version difference.
I know, right? And the funny thing about it is like despite any menu changes or anything like that, the game is coded so well. It's not coded well, but it's coded so well that I'm doing the exact same manipulations that you would see in Japanese. It literally just comes down to less text boxes. So the Japanese version is faster just because of less text boxes. This is going to be the first instance of a fight where I don't one-shot. The next two fights are going to be exactly like that. We still get favorable results, so we're going to deal 24 damage here. We'll take 3 damage, so our first bit of damage. Then we'll do 29 damage, which at that point in time, it's overkill. And then the next fight's also going to have Sumido as well. Sumido is an egg with a sumo, whatever that... What are those called? The outfit that the sumo wrestlers wear. I don't know what they're called.
Remember.
Oh god, I should probably find the correct name for that.
I don't want to call it the wrong thing.
Mawashi.
Mawashi. Okay. Also, if everyone hasn't noticed yet, the overworld sprites do not match the trainer sprites when you load the battle. They have a lot of assets in this game, and none of them really line up. I don't know if that's intentional. It's impressive. Impressive how different everything looks.
Another thing that's worth noting about, speaking of playing the game in the fastest way with Japanese versus English and like that, Keys is actually playing on a Super Game Boy 2, not on like a Game Boy player like you might imagine for most Pokemon games. And that's because this game has the the palette changes and whatnot from... you can explain it better than I can. It's basically running in DMG mode, so it doesn't lag as much. Sort of like Pokemon Yellow when you play it on a Game Boy, like original Game Boy versus a Game Boy Color.
Yeah. So anyone that's ever played Yellow without color, if you notice when you transition between routes and maps and stuff, there isn't really like a problem. But with Game Boy Player, Game Boy Color, anything that actually produces those colors, those transitions kind of have like a few frames of lag, so they could reintroduce the color palette. The same thing happens with Robopon. So I'm playing it on Super Game Boy 2, just because Super Game Boy 2 is accurate, but it prevents those color changes. We still have like color palette swapping, but it's not thinking about it. Also, because it's a Super Game Boy, I can mash X and just do that. I can make it black and white.
The one thing
I can make it whatever color I want, but
The one thing you're not seeing either with this game, because of the cropping we have, so the screen is bigger, it actually has a full color, like, custom frame in the Super Game Boy 2 as well.
yeah, it's like a circuit board, and the English version says Robo on one side and Pon in the other, whereas the Japanese version says Robot, and then the right side says Ponkots.
Robot Ponkots.
Robot Ponkots.
I saw that tonight, and I was like, what the hell is a robot Poncot?
But yeah, that manipulation that we did all the way back in the school for the fights, it also applies to here. So we got no encounters here. Now, let me tell you, before we discovered how you could manipulate this game, you're guaranteed like 3+ encounters here, typically on average 5. It's really horrible. But then we're going to do a purposeful bonk here. Literally just run into him. His name is David? Oh, what a dork.
He is a Screwy and a Skulby.
But yeah, quite often you're gonna see buffered manips way more often than bufferless, and that's mainly because it double input me there. That's not good. Oh, okay. Well, the manipulation's dead now. Okay, so this game has a problem where the engine's kind of bad. So sometimes you're gonna see like double inputs and whatnot. So my manipulation's actually dead, but it's not really worth resetting over. So we're just gonna leave it to God. oh God. Oh God, why God? All right, well.
This may have been a mistake.
Oh no. Oh, this stinks. But yeah, the engine's really laggy. If anyone ever plays this game and you try to menu, you'll understand completely.
Colby is really just like looking at you with the squinty eyes, like I know what you what you're up to. Like that is the like meanest side eye I've ever seen.
Oh yeah. Okay, so there's 3 more fights that we're gonna have to do without manipulation. This is gonna be interesting. 2 of them should be okay. The third one might be a problem, but that's okay. But the nice thing about, since you're chaining manips all the time in this, you're not really concerned if you like break one. It's not gonna alter the next one, because much like Gen 3 of Pokemon, once you do a reset, it sets it back to 0. So we just gotta make it through this. His name is Jaime? What's the relevance?
I don't know.
He's got one slick
I was
looking
about to say
pompadour
the
though.
same thing. Like he's got
it.
a sick pompadour.
All right, I'm just gonna bonk once and hope that somehow like aligns it in a good way.
So you see the official Robodex entry for Jaime says junior high Robopon, always tardy and ditches school for the pool hall. So there you go.
So he's a delinquent.
He's a delinquent.
That makes sense.
Given the pompadour, yeah.
Okay, I saw someone in chat mention flashcards and just trying to figure out a way to emulate this game. The problem with this game is the game was designed to use the GDQx, which is an infrared thing where you can control the carts and do like give yourself special items and stuff with a universal remote control. So because of that, emulation for the game is actually incredibly difficult, and that's where half of the garbage code is. Okay, so this is the problem robot for us. We have to fight it twice. Bisco's a little bit of a sore loser here, by the way. This guy's name is Bisco, but he's the resident bully. What the essential plot of this is it's kind of like Pokemon where you're trying to become the best, right? But instead of fighting 8 gym leaders and then an Elite 4 and a champion, there's the Legend 7. And what Bisco's doing is he's trying to be the qualifier from our school, because, you know, we're like 10, but he's trying to qualify, but he didn't fight us. So we fought him to try and prove we deserve the qualification, but he's kind of being a jerk. He's like, no, I won it already. Goodbye. So now we have to fight him again at the actual official arena. The plot's weird, man. I'm
just thinking back to later when there's a tower and there's 2 people in the tower, and that's going to be a fun time to commentate.
Oh, yeah, they'll definitely see that soon. Yeah, it's always Bisco.
I know the Hexbot's already dead, but Hexbot is the stuff made of nightmares there.
Oh, yeah.
It really is. It really is.
It's like a...
So you're going to get familiar with this area. This is it's Tail Castle. We have to go here every time to go to the Coliseum for a legend fight. Sometimes we actually get to teleport here immediately, but not all the time. But you're gonna get quite familiar with this area.
I remember that bridge.
That bridge is so long. It's so egregious. Okay, so this fight might be a little scary because we don't have Manip. The biggest reason why the Manips are important for this fight and the last fight is because of Hexbot. So much like in Pokemon, there are status conditions. There's like Bug, which is like a confusion thing. There's Virus, which is like poison. But Hexbot's bulky, and it takes manipulation to two-shot it. So we are kind of hoping here. Also, he gets a 4th robot now, so he increased his team, and his team got stronger. We literally fought him 10 seconds ago, and he's going to be more powerful. But I think everyone in chat is really going to like his new addition. We're going to see it in 2. We're going to defeat Urchi again, which is an urchin. I'm sure I believe in you all. I'm sure you realize
Isn't
that.
Urchi green on Japanese?
Yes.
Why is it orange here?
I don't know.
I love how they don't get fainted.
There we go.
They don't get fainted, they get scrapped.
Well, I mean,
This is totally original. No one's ever made this before.
Nah.
the catchphrase for this, instead of catch 'em all, was build 'em, collect 'em, trash 'em.
All right.
Is it?
Yep, Robopon, build 'em, collect 'em,
Man,
trash 'em.
This game's blatant.
That's close to a 2-shot. You should 3, at least.
Oh, I became bug. Oh no. Oh dear. Oh, we got lucky.
What was
Oh,
that
let's
damage
go.
range?
Yes. Okay, so the manip might have died, but it's okay because that's like the hardest fight for Hogbot. And now we're gonna start another manip, so everything's fine. We got incredibly lucky.
Nice.
The only thing that we struggled with was the second fight. No, the second robot of the first fight, which is a lot bulkier than I realized. So that fight also showed off something. So I mentioned software is like getting moves. So it's fire, ice, water, holy, evil. Excuse me. There's all of that. There's also a regular attack, which what the heck was that menu? Hello? There's also a regular attack, which you don't really see me use too often. In fact, if I didn't mess up the manipulation, you'd see me use it once ever instead of, 4 times. If you didn't notice, it does nothing. It's very, very weak. It costs no points to use, but it also does like 4 damage. The original non-manipulated route had a fight where you had to use attack 5 times in it.
Gross.
No manipulation in this game is disgusting. Also, I'm kind of sad that we messed up the manip because I really wanted to compare how far behind English gets to Japanese. But because of that, I'm already a minute and 23 behind. Yeah, that manip that we just did, like I mentioned before, with like bufferless manip, you get 200 tiles of immunity essentially, give or take a few. It really depends on when you enter the game. With buffered manip, you get an encounter within the first 10 or 15 tiles, but then you're encounterless for a while. So a lot of times you see me utilize buffered manip when I know I'm not going to be in an area that produces encounters, and then just do a bunch of extra steps, both like get what would be an encounter if I were in the proper area and then not have any encounters. So I set up a manip all the way back in the arena, went all the way to this tower. Not only is this going to be, I believe it's 36 and then 34 damage on the Nokia cell phone here, but it also prevents encounters.
TACBot is a cellular phone Robopon. Can't fight in areas with low radio signals.
Why is he in a tower then?
I don't know.
Also, I know everybody's been suspending their disbelief thus far, but this is where I understand if you can no longer do that. We used destroy on a Nokia phone and it was successful.
It's true.
Yeah, I was going to say, how are you going to defeat this if it's a Nokia phone?
Lots of cheating. But I had a Nokia phone when I was in high school and the 6 key wouldn't work unless I literally threw it as hard as I could against my locker and then it just started working again.
I also had.
Also,
had
did
one.
televisions can teleport you for whatever reason? I wish I knew the lore behind that, but
Yeah. So this game has a thing I've noticed where it requires you to try to progress and fail before allowing you to go somewhere else to progress further. So he just had to go into the cave, get told, oh, it's too dark here, and now he's going to go get a way to see through the cave.
which is a lamp.
lamp.
Which this place is called Dude's Lamp Shop.
Dude.
Or lamp store, excuse me. So this dude has a lamp. So this is basically Flash. That's basically Rock Tunnel. This is basically Flash, except it's 100% required.
Yeah. And dude
But-
wants a sea grape.
Yeah, he wants a sea grape. We're going to get that, but we're not going to give it to him right away because, as I mentioned before, we can manipulate encounters. So we can manipulate so we get none. We can manipulate so we force one. Forcing one can do a great many things, like change the RNG of an upcoming fight. I really need to remember I can press up. What a weird difference. We're setting up another manipulation right here. And I hope everyone really enjoyed your time with Hogbot. But Hogbot has one more fight left. But it is the most important fight in this run. So at least he gets to go out in a blaze of glory. So I set my time earlier to 1540 because between 1500 to 1800, this village exists. It's called Illusion Village. You can access dungeons here. And the dungeons have, varying degrees of difficulty with varying degrees of leveled monsters or leveled robots, sorry. And so we're actually going to take advantage of that. Dude, this whole menu thing of being able to press different directions is me off. So we buy an upper ticket here. So what the upper ticket allows us to do is it allows us to enter the upper dungeon. I know, what a shocking twist. But we're going to enter here and we're going to find our new main. Anyone who's familiar with Pokemon Crystal or Pokemon Soul Silver or Heart Gold, how you switch to Raikou as your main, we're going to get our Raikou.
I love this minute.
You literally just walk into the rock until it happens. So meet the Spoopy Pumpkin. Also known as Jackie, the Jack-o'-lantern.
Jackie is great.
So Jackie's fantastic. I'm gonna do certain things here. So we attack it. We do absolutely nothing to it. We're gonna defend 2 turns because we don't want to die. For whatever reason, with the manipulation I just did, despite the lack of damage to it, despite the fact that it's level 48, and despite the fact I'm going to use the equivalent of a Pokeball on it, we're going to capture it. So now we're upgrading from a level 9 to a level 48. All right, we captured Jackie. Also, we use magnets instead of Pokeballs, so that's original, I guess. So immediately going to put Jackie up front. And much like we upgraded Hogbot's CPU, we're going to upgrade Jackie's CPU. It's over leveled, so you think you wouldn't have to do that. But this section of the game is obnoxious. Not as obnoxious as another section. It's going to come up in about, 50 minutes or so. But there's a tower we're going to have to climb. And there's a lot of unfortunate stuff that happens in that tower. So I'm just going to leave that for interpretation until we get there. Jackie only has 1 CPU. So we're going to upgrade him, not to 2, not to 4, but 8 whole CPUs. He's almost a supercomputer.
Downloaded more CPUs.
Yep, he sure
Deleted
did.
System 32 downloaded more
From
CPUs.
From the shady bald man, no less. All right, so once again, like I mentioned before, typically we'll set up an early manipulation if we're going to run into an area with encounters and have a really clear window of what we can avoid. So we're actually setting up a manipulation really early. We're going to get our lamp, which is pretty much just HMO5, and then we're going to traverse Ereboo Cave, which is pretty much just rock tunnel. The dangerous thing about this is you can accidentally say, no, you can't have the sea grape. And then I think he actually cries. I'm pretty sure he actually cries. I'm being very careful to try not to bonk here. Even though the manipulation was easy to set up, the movement here is tight. I think I have 2 or 3 tiles of wiggle room, and that includes bonking. And for whatever reason, other than today, I'm really susceptible to bonking in this one area. All right, I didn't do it. Clap. Thank you. So now we're in rock
And
tunnel.
you can see.
Yeah, it's not pitch black. He really couldn't see anything, though, to be fair. They did a decent job of deterring you from thinking about going back in. And the worst part is, like Etiquette said, you have to get to a point where the game tells you can't do it in order to do it. I tried so hard to find a way to not have to go into the cave just to know that I can't do it, but game says otherwise. Also, this game's better than Pokemon. We don't need a badge, nor do we need an HM to push boulders.
You also can't fall in the holes, which you'll see later on.
I'd show you now, but my step counter is very important.
Yeah. The other thing that's interesting is you'll see these people. I'm assuming these people are trainers, but they don't actually see you. You have to like manually talk to them. So the only real required fights are like story fights.
Mm-hmm. In the original route, before we discovered we could manipulate Jackie, we would use Hogbot. And Hogbot had, I think, like 27 or something optional fights just to be able to keep up. And not only did it have 27 extra fights, but it also had to grind at the beginning to even beat Bisco, and then it had to grind right before the final fight with a special item, which I'll talk about that once we get our first special item. But you had to grind to level 50 to even stand a chance. Right now, we're just teleporting through a bunch of television sets. Hey, Julia. I didn't know your name was Julia. And now we're just in another tower. We're going to set up another manip. This manip's important because you're about to see why this tower is horrible, and it's just a preview for another set of towers we have to go through later. We're actually going to purposely get an encounter here because it'll advance the RNG in a certain way, and that's very, very important for what's about to come. So we get a... Yeah, this thing. I forget what its name is. Cadet.
It looks like the pre-evolution of Card.
Looks like the pre-evolution of Colonel from Mega Man X4.
Oh, you know something? Cadet is the pre-evolution of Psst.
Oh yeah, good old Psst. All right, so this is the true downside of Robopon. Forced mini games. Oh, that's.
Oh, you're fine.
Okay.
Wow, that was way closer than it should have been.
So upgrading our CPU gives us a multiplier to our stats. And so the way that this minigame works is I don't know the actual like numbers and how it multiplies, but whatever number you punch the punching bag with multiplies with your stat and like another thing. Because we're so overpowered, I hit a 7, but still rolled a really high number. If I hit like a 94, you're going to see like 800. So these things stand absolutely no chance to the punching might of my pumpkin. So yeah, once again, they rolled a higher number. He's actually going to lose number, I believe. Yeah, he drops to 21. He's a weakling.
Looks like a...
He does not lift. He doesn't go to the gym.
Looks like a sad...
He rolled an 82, and I'm still going to win.
Sad jump bluff.
I was going to say Porygon, but I can see the jump bluff.
I saw the Porygon as well, but like... They've got like the arms for jump bluff, but they're holding really tiny maracas.
Yeah, yes, they are.
I also completely misread Jackie's Robodex entry as attribute hater.
I could believe it though.
It's attribute water, but I looked at the tiny image on the stream and I was like, he's a hater?
I mean, he really, look at this. He's stomping on a cat.
It's Meowth.
I think that's...
Oh my god, that one's adorable.
It should be fine. Unless we roll a 1 or a 2, we can't lose. Yeah, easy. So it's actually really important that I win those in 2. It's a best 2 out of 3. So the reason why that first low roll was really scary is because if we get a third turn, it actually throws off the entirety of the RNG. So we weren't manipulating necessarily for the puncher, even though it does kind of help because the first one always has 7 and 8, so it can never beat you. We're manipulating for the next thing. For whatever reason, I've been having strange luck with this one lately. I'm getting different results, but I'm still winning. But this is 1000% the absolute worst minigame in the entire game. There are 5 different ones, so I just gave you a little bit of a spoiler for later. But there are 5 different ones.
The maze.
Now, I'm gonna give you all a control camera of what to do here.
Controller input. Yep. Come on, you can do it. Oh, there we go.
Eric, yep.
Thank goodness. It always disappoints me. No matter how high level you are, the only thing you can change in this is having higher CPU means you can move faster in it. But it's not. It is not up to you whether you win or not, which is why manipulation is great. Back in the unmanipulated days, I would literally lose 5 minutes to this segment, and then a later segment, I could lose up to 10. A lot of times, they like to hot dog it and just kind of dance around and stuff. I don't really have an explanation for that. Like, see, the spin before the finish was
It's
completely
for
egregious
swag.
and unnecessarily.
He's a hater.
guess.
He's gotta do it.
It's like teabagging your opponent. Like, it's so rude. Yeah, this mini game is, you know, hell in a mini game.
Yeah.
The absolute worst. There's literally nothing I can do. I don't know
Well, you
what to do.
should have trained a better robot.
Yeah, probably. What are you doing? This is not a seed I've seen before. No!
Oh, there
Yes.
we go. All right.
Okay, very good. I did see someone in chat ask what the energy balls are. So those are actually kind of like secondary experience. That's how you evolve your robots, but none of my robots can evolve. So nobody can use them. If you had a robot in your party that could evolve, then it will ask, would you like to apply the energy balls?
That might come up later.
You'll see that pop up
Yeah.
later.
311 keys.
I'm gonna stay hydrated real quick because there's nothing I can. Whoa, you're flying. Okay, never mind.
What is? Where are you going? Jackie!
Turn around! Where are you going? Good. Good.
All right.
My God.
20.6.
Slow. Absolutely slow. Embarrassing. Pathetic. All right, so you're finally going to see a bufferless manip. Which is funny because I buffer the menu to do it, but... So I literally just wait on the screen for a little bit. So what this manip introduces instead is it's less conducive for fights because fight seeds earlier are typically better. But as I mentioned before, we get roughly 200 tiles of immunity. If I enter a little later, then we lose a tile or two, sometimes as much as 5. If I enter too early, then there is a chance that I don't get away with the encounter list. Like I could get an encounter within like 1 or 2 tiles.
Right.
Here's another mini game that I'm not really going to do much. I literally just press A to activate it. This is basically like the big ramp from the X games. And it also combines with like home run contests from Melee. The idea is you're supposed to mash A, because if you mash A, you'll actually flutter slower down. But we're getting so much speed and so much distance that I literally don't need to do anything. I would show it off, but it takes so long to flutter down. So we have 2 more of these to go. And then we're finally done with mini games for a while. There's an entire segment of this run that is 90% mini games. So if everyone in chat was really excited for these mini games, don't you fret, my dears. You will see more mini game. It's like long jump without the sand.
Yeah.
It's just painful dirt. Dirt and partially paved road. There's some asphalt there. Also, I love how it's like, let's fight a jumper.
Like, there's a nurse medibot.
All right. 762. I apparently mashed A 3 times. Whoopsie doodle. That doesn't really do anything. It's funny because you can get up to 4 meters of extra distance, but like you don't see any sort of difference.
Oh, like visually on the screen, they land in the same spot.
Mm-hmm.
So I see you're back at the fight arena.
Yep, that television teleported us. That's one of 2 that do that, or is that the only one? I don't know. Anyway, we get to fight a boomer soon. That's great. Her outfit's a different color.
Listen,
I'm so confused.
his name is .com.
I'm so good. Oh no, etiquette! I know what it is. Because we added, I used a different palette.
Oh.
No wonder everything's different. Wow, they're so much uglier with the original palette. Okay, we just went from Medi to Betty.
Solid.
All right, so to explain Jackie a little bit more, other than being egregiously overleveled and extremely overpowered,
Boomer.
yeah, we use C Link on the shark torpedo. But
Okay.
yeah, so this Jackie comes with 3 pieces of software. It comes with a land, which turns into land link. It has sea, which turns into sea link, and it has sky, which turns into sky link. For the sake of Pokemon, it's basically like having Earthquake, Surf, and Drill Peck. The funniest thing about it is, despite any type neutralities, type effectiveness, or type ineffectiveness, that's one of 3 times you're going to see me use Sea Link. You're going to see me use Sky Link once, and then the rest of the time I only use Land Link. So we're literally just earthquaking all the competition.
So I don't know if it's like the spacing on the font or whatever, but when I saw Sea Link, I totally read it as Seal Ink. And now I'm not going to not see that.
A fun fact, I actually saved time on my PB in that segment because in my PB, I messed up the speeder manip. So that's encouraging to improve that run, but it's also obnoxious at the same time. I went to the wrong village.
Are you on a manip right now?
Nah, I'm about to set a new one up. The funny thing is, with that mistake, I mean, I did take an extra step in the end, but if I were to go to the wrong location in the middle of a manip and then immediately leave, so the only steps are the transition into the town and the transition out of the town, your manip is still safe. None of those count as steps. It's really, really weird. I don't understand this game. So Team Rocket's here. Misty just gave us a dolphin robot, and she wanted us to protect it. But Team Rocket showed up, and they told us to give them the bot. If we say yes immediately, we're just like, ugh, we gave up the bot that Misty wanted us to protect. If you say no, they bike around you in circles and beat your ass. So it's obviously faster to just agree to getting robbed.
Give me the robot.
All right. Setting up another manip here because our encounters are going to be in a while, but we do have fights coming up. Not that that matters because we're supremely overpowered, but this is just for the encounters. I'm also live going to test out a tiny optimization.
Uh-oh.
We'll see how that goes.
Hogchamps in chat.
So there's 2 minor optimizations that you can make in this area, and I tested out one of them and it worked out fine, but I have another one. Ideally, I'm going to save some movement. And by save some movement, I mean literally like a singular tile total.
Word.
Also, there's a motorcycle called Cycool. That exists.
One of the weirder but also kind of cool designs in this game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So those two trainers that are below us, it's technically less movement if I fight the right one first and the left one second, even though the right one is further down. And the reason why it saves me movement, especially when it comes to encounterless, is turn frames don't count. You can generate a turn frame whenever you want, but they don't count as a step. Bonks count as a step, but turn frames do not. So this is ideally saving 1 tile of movement. But then we add 2 to the guy at the very bottom, because if we talk to him from the bottom instead of from the right, it's kind of like fighting Silphco rival in Gen 1, where if you're on a certain tile, he walks more, whereas if you're on a certain tile, he walks less. So we're trying to accomplish getting him out of my screen as quickly as possible.
Okay. So I don't know if it would be like useful anywhere. Can you do a turn frame? Like, can you do the thing in Gen 2 where you turn but don't walk a tile in this?
Yes.
Okay.
In fact, I can show that in a little bit. I don't want to find out that if you do too many turn frames at once, it does count as a step.
Yeah,
so we're gonna wait.
I don't know if it's actually useful.
We're testing one thing live. We're not testing all of that. No. All right, so I'm sure we're all kind of. We finally got a level, so we finally get to recover our 7 HP. But I'm sure everyone's really tired of me beating up motorcycles. So
tired.
We're gonna talk to Mr. Smith over here, and Mr. Smith is going to have 4 wheels instead of 2. He's gonna have Speedy the car.
Oh, man.
Also, he looks like what? Who's the thing in Twisted Metal?
Oh my god,
that is like Joker.
Yeah, like the clown face thing.
Sweet Tooth. Sweet Tooth. He looks like Sweet Tooth.
I don't think I've thought about Twisted Metal for like 10 years. It came up twice tonight.
All right, so they were kind of pinning people in this underground area. I don't really remember the story. I don't know anyone who remembers the story. They're called the Smiley Group, apparently. They're not Team Rocket. I guess they bullied them into the underground. And they're having like a town hall about this, and nothing was accomplished. Very good. Very productive. Top banana. So we're going to buy some more ground escapes because they're really handy to get out of dungeons. We're going to use a ton of them in a sec. So we're going to buy 10 here just because it's faster to buy 10. We don't use all of them. If you recall, which I don't expect anyone does, but if you recall, when I bought ground escapes the first time, I bought 2. We've only used 1 so far. Just like in Pokemon, I want to maintain the positioning of that item in my menu. It was the very first item we ever received. So having your ground escapes at the top just saves you time. So we bought that extra one just so it would stay on top. I'm sure there's a way to sort items in this. I'm pretty sure like select works just like in Pokemon. I don't want to find out. So we got a golden wrench, which we're actually going to give to this mechanic. We had like a unicycle bot this whole time, and now he's going to turn it into one of the cycles that we've been, slaughtering. So we have a motorcycle now.
Yay.
And that's really important because any bots like that, they help you advance through terrain faster when you can use them, which you only use them twice. So there's that. So this mountain grease here, like for example, I wouldn't be able to traverse a lot of this if I didn't have a motorcycle for some reason.
So somebody...
So this is...
Go ahead.
Ooh, hold on. I gotta okay. I had to do that a little early compared to my metronome timer because I completely beefed the timing.
No, I was gonna say somebody in chat asked, and I was actually gonna ask myself, what's the difference between the air escapes and the ground escapes? Like in terms of actual
I think
use.
air escape is just like a polka doll.
Okay.
I think
that makes sense.
Okay, so a bald fairy godfather came out of a teddy bear. I'm sure there's many questions being asked about that. So throughout the game, there's a bunch of teddy bears, and those teddy bears can produce that fairy. And what the fairy does is he gives you a special item. So what the special item does is it could oh my goodness, it could double up your money 1.5 times your speed stat. We got double our attack stat. So Jackie's now going to be dealing anywhere between 700 to 1200 damage to everything. I'm hoping, by all that is holy, that the extra 2 steps I took doesn't produce an encounter. No big deal. We can always run away from it. But I did kind of goof. We have 3 sets of strength puzzles. Also, this is what Etiquette was talking about earlier. We can just walk over the holes because Hudson, I guess. Aha! An encounter. That day.
So someone brought up that this game has a GBA sequel. It does. There's also an N64 Robopon game, as I had found out looking at eBay. Because I low-key want to play this game. Also,
it's actually honestly a good game with like a banger soundtrack. It's just be cautious of how garbage the movement engine is. And just the menuing in general. All right, we got to do another encounterless minute. Also, that's kind of obnoxious, but once you unlock Illusion Village, it always tells you, hey, between the hours of 3 and 6 p.m., you can enter this. Kind of annoying. All right, so we finished our strength puzzle. So we literally use a ground escape. It takes us in a completely different entrance than we entered. But it's infinitely faster than traversing the stairs because, as everyone's noticed by now, every time you enter a new section of a map, it pops up with a text box telling you where you are. This section's interesting. And by interesting, I mean dumb. But you actually have to do a specific path. If you don't walk that path, then you could walk on a fake tile, which is just a hole that drops you into the basement, and then it takes you to that entrance that we popped out of when we used our ground escape.
So good old Morty's gym.
Yeah, you're in Morty's gym.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Morty's got nothing on this. This is more tiles.
Oh, apparently in the GBA
So we have
game,
to fight this character
Sorry.
for whatever reason. No, it's okay. Nothing important to say about this. It's just a character that we have to fight.
I mean, there's nothing important about this, but it's very funny. Apparently in the GBA sequel, you are the exact same character. You are Cody again in a new region, but you don't have the Robopon from the previous game because you forgot them at home. That is the story for that.
All right. Well, neat.
Which is pretty on brand for Keys here if you ever do
dingus.
a GBA run.
What a dingus. So we have a motorcycle, but it can't go up and down these dirt hills.
It's not the muck bike.
So the game expects us to backtrack all the way. But for whatever reason, even though we exited the cave, it still defaults you there. So we save, I think it's like 1.5 minutes on movement just by using a ground escape instead of backtracking. I remember when I found that one out, I cackled like a hyena because it was just the dumbest thing. So now we're on a little bit of a mini quest where we have to find a way to upgrade our motorcycle into Speedy so we can have a car, because the car can go up the hill. So we go to this old man who used to be really good at repairs, and then he's like, I can't do it anymore, but my grandson can. Why don't you find him? That's really it. I don't know.
Is this the guy who's the shop that's just like on a rug, or is that later?
No, that's later. And then the encounterless manip that I did literally either gives you an encounter on the last 2 tiles of this guy, or you make it. It's that tight. So now he's gonna turn our motorcycle into a car, because I'm pretty sure that's how the world works. Right? Like that's how you make cars.
Make sure you don't forget to buckle up.
Yeah. Buckle up in that motorcycle turned car now. So now we have a car. Now we can go up the hill. And because we can go up the hill, we can go to Legend 5. I think this is Legend 5. We can finally approach him and be like, hey, dork, fight us. So we're going to do another encounterless manip here because there's actually a decent amount of encounter chance here. And as I mentioned before, the seed locks in as soon as you hit continue there. Not when you clear the next box, but as soon as you hit continue. So I could literally hit continue there, walk away, make a sandwich, use the bathroom, and it'll still be the same seed. I do not understand why it works like that. But for anyone who is, I don't know, silly enough to want to pick up this game, the manipulation is really easy to learn. Can you hold A? Congratulations, you can do 80% of them. Can you stare at the screen with your mouth open like a dingus? Congratulations, you can do the other 20%. All right, as we've seen, a lot of these robots can evolve into bigger, badder robots. So Speedy, which is a car, evolves into this thing.
Tread.
Tread. A tank. with an eye in front of its nose and 2 eyes on its knees.
Okay. Wait, hold on. So I can get behind 2, like, Unibot getting upgraded into the Cycool because 1 wheel, 2 wheels makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got 2 wheels. Upgrade that to the car for Speedy. That's 2 + 2 is 4. Apparently, 2 cars makes a tank.
Yeah, you trade in those
you stack them on
tires
top
for
of each other.
treads.
Interesting.
And then you stack them on top of each other. Easy. Now, somebody earlier asked about energy balls and why we can't use them. I actually messed up my menu there. So for the next 2 fights, I'm supposed to end by mashing B so I don't enter the menu. But we have, since we have Speedy, which can evolve into Tread, and it doesn't require any event or item, it is asking if I would like to apply the energy balls to Speedy, which if you accidentally say yes, that's like 4 seconds of menuing that you lose. It's really silly.
311 keys.
Also, every time he gets on a bike, he looks like a chipmunk. Like, I'm telling you.
Oh my god.
He really does.
He really does. I don't understand the sprites.
I don't think I noticed that the other day, but I definitely noticed it now.
I've noticed it for years. All right, so you'll never guess where we're going next.
Oh, back to the bridge.
Yep.
So while I don't know if this can't be on the same engine as Pokemon, but I think it's a similar engine to the TCG game, which was also made by Hudson Soft. So that's where a lot of the similarities and assets are coming in.
Yep.
They also made Sonic Shuffle, which is a terrible video game for the Dreamcast with really broken AI, and by broken I mean stupidly good AI, even on easy.
Ha! All right, so we mentioned before that Misty gave us DOSBot to protect. So the first thing that Wild sends out is DOSBot. And the first thing we do is obliterate it with Earthquake.
It's Echo the Dolphin.
1,138. I've never seen it that high.
Now you've got
the seed
now you
were
got
on
Mr.
silly.
Mime Zubat.
It only took 524. Also, this is Mech, which is a truck. This is the only instance of using Skylink you're ever going to see. Mech's defenses are insanely ridiculous. But for whatever reason, it's weak to Sky. It cannot handle the Mercy
That's
Kill.
Vampire Ditto on the head of that robot, right?
Yeah.
All right, Jackie's finally level 50. We did it. Not like that really matters, but we've had Jackie for 30 minutes and he's leveled up twice.
Well,
That's how little experience
he's
we're getting
also
right now.
over double the level of everything you're facing.
That's irrelevant. I don't know. Whatever.
Black white experience are
I don't think that.
keys.
Yeah. Okay, sure. They invented it first.
Yeah, Hudson Soft made this game. They made the Pokemon TCG game on Game Boy. They made Mario Party, and then later made Sonic Shuffle. They just made clones of other Nintendo games using other series. I don't know.
Wizardry. Magic. All right, so I'm getting really tired of seeing the game asking if I want to use the energy balls.
Oh yeah.
So we don't need... Oh my god, it's so weird to see where I am in the menu. We don't need that for a while, so we're gonna deposit it. We actually grab it again later. Oh, I'm on save, not title. That's weird. Okay, try again. Very good. I'll talk about that.
So is there a reason that you were clicking save there instead of title?
Yeah, so I was just trying to build time for donations. All right, so Jackie was at a measly 8 CPU. And we're about to go into minigame hell version 2.0. So now Jackie is at a whopping 64 CPU.
Holy moly.
He's basically a TI calculator. All right, so as mentioned, we're going to minigame hell, also known as Dine
Is this
Town,
the
which has the best track in the game.
is this the 5 towers?
Yes.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So as mentioned before, there's 5 different mini games, which one of the 5 mini games is actually kind of silly. It's called a battler, which is literally just a fight. It's not even a different mini game. So we're our first set of mini games are going to. Also, you have to pay $1,000 for this. This is required for the story, and they expect you to have $1,000. What if you're playing casually and you just bought a bunch of crap? You're literally
You
stuck.
did just waste your money on like 64 CPUs.
I know. I could have had 128. You can't, but I could have had 128. Also, somebody asked about like the censored sprites. That's
Yeah,
one
that
of
is
them.
what I was about to mention. That's one of the robots that are censored in this version.
His name is Stinky. I'll leave that to your imagination.
For those of y'all who are unaware of what the story is for this video game, you take on the role of a child named Cody, whose grandpa is retiring and gives him the family business, which is a Robopon dispatching company. And Cody travels around Porumbo Island collecting Robopon and battling against the Legend 7, which are the top-ranked Robopon collectors on the island. And every time Cody beats one of the Legend 7, he takes that Legend's place in the ranking system, and they're trying to be the best Robopon battler? I don't know. But apparently this game had 153 Robopon that you could collect, but because it wasn't, the partner version Star was never localized and couldn't ever complete the decks.
Yeah. It's disappointing, but it's okay. We have Jackie.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I just want to point out this tower layout, everyone. I hope you like it.
Yeah.
We're gonna go through the same one 4 more times. It's gonna have different music every time. Really about the only thing going for it. We're gonna set up another manip here. As mentioned before, when you do these buffered manips, you're expected to get an encounter within the first several tiles. It's definitely not 10. It might have been like 15 or 20. But we're so close to this event that it doesn't matter. And then it's going to set us up for encounterless later. And like I said, we're doing the battler mini game, which is just battling.
Also, this guy's literally shooting you.
Yeah, I know. I don't understand. We're 10, and we just want to play with robots. And he has a gun at us. If this game were made by 4 kids, he'd just be pointing at us.
Yep. Very aggressively, but he would be pointing at us. Mr. Pegasus
you!
would like to have a few words with you.
Also, I think that teddy bear that we're ignoring gives you a speed boost, which we definitely don't need.
Hey, you could use it later.
For like 2 fights that we survive anyway.
All right. Fair.
Okay, I knew that the text boxes were longer because of the amount of characters, but these guys' text boxes are really slow.
Well, a lot of them have like 1 or 2 words on a second text box, which in Japanese would just be a single text box probably, so.
Mm-hmm. Also, once again, I don't have to press anything, and even though it actually looks like we lose, but we don't. Like, I genuinely think that the opponent's sprite is like slightly ahead of us. So now we go back. So there's not only are we going through the same tower 5 total times, we're bouncing back and forth on the map between the same 2 locations during that entire sequence. So, yeah, see, so this is the tower again, except it has the jumper music. So, you know, it's hyping us up. It's saying, hey, it's time to party. You got the world's awesomest mini game ever until we go to the next one, which that one's the world's awesomest.
So does the order of the towers here matter, or is it just whatever was the easiest?
In general, the order does not matter. In terms of cleaner
Yeah,
manips, the order does matter. But like if you're just some, casual player that's playing through the game for the first time, definitely do speeder last. Because if you do speeder earlier and you get stuck, it's going to be so much more discouraging.
Right.
Whereas if you do it last, it's like, I just gotta make it past this one. I just gotta make it past this one. Absolutely awful mini games. They tried, I guess.
I like the idea of them.
What I don't like is if you accidentally say no to a rematch, like if you lose a minigame and you say no, it counts as a wipe and sends you back home.
Do you want to try again? No.
Yeah. Also, I have no idea how our... One, Jackie's on a broomstick, which I don't quite understand. Two, we lost to a rocket ship that turned into a... we won against a rocket ship that turned into a helicopter. I don't...
So it's probably on a broomstick because it's a mage type.
Probably.
It's
To
still
clarify in chat real quick, this is not being played on a Game Boy Player. It's being played on a Super Game Boy 2. The reason being Super Game Boy 1 runs at the incorrect clock speed, which makes it illegal for speedruns. But Super Game Boy 2 allows it to run in DMG mode, that it does not have additional lag. It's the same problem that Pokemon Yellow does. Game Boy Player would run it in Game Boy Color mode, or even Game Boy Advance mode, which the color palettes introduce some lag.
And it honestly, with all the transitions, it adds up to like 4 to 5 minutes of extra time.
That's a lot of time for those.
Oh, yeah.
For just those transitions. Holy buckets.
Yeah, well, you see how much we're bouncing around the map right now.
I think it was estimated even in like Pokemon Yellow, it saves a couple minutes. Like, yeah.
All right, let us celebrate the fact that manip gives us a 9. Now, here's the weird thing. So the only other runner of this is Tutular Fiber, who actually came up with the vast majority of these improved manips. I came up with some basic ones, and he really refined the rest of the route. You can have 2 possible results there. You can either get an 11.4 as a finish or a 9.0 as a finish. I've never once gotten 11.4. And for whatever reason, when I get a 9.0, I get an encounter. So I actually took an unoptimal path there. And I believe it's like the second to last tile before I enter this tower is where the encounter would have produced. But for whatever reason, with the 11.4, you don't produce an encounter. I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's Robopon. That's why I got to say Robopon.
I want to see what the
Robopon.
N64 game looked like.
Yeah, that's the one that I haven't tried yet. I've tried... Well, I technically haven't tried Star yet. I got like 5 minutes in and thought the starter was super lame. Gave up. And I also didn't know the game as well at the time, so trying to read moon runes was really tough.
Robot Poncot.
Robot Poncots. So we have the speeder music playing now. It's really telling us to hurry the hell up through the tower. Because, that's speedy. Get it?
Ah.
I hate this segment. This is the worst segment of the game. The literal same tower 5 times. And here's the caveat behind all this. We're doing this so we can earn an ID card. So we can enter the middle tower. There are 6 towers. The upside is the 6th tower is at least a different layout. There's a pool on the 4th floor, because why not? I don't even think you can interact with the pool. It's just there. It's just, hey, I'm a pool. Ugh, this one scares me every time. Spins at the very end. It makes me think it's going to throw.
Oh, yeah. Is that 3 towers down?
That is 3 towers down. We have the Shielder Tower, which that's a new mini game that no one's seen up to this point. And then we have the puncher, which that's the one where we completely bullied the Meow.
Right. This is like, I feel like without this section, this could be like almost a sub-hour run.
Pretty much.
Like, that's obviously joking, but like almost not.
So obviously every single manip is important, especially when it comes to speeder, but it's even more so important with shielder. So I don't think shielder's as bad as speeder, because speeder is literally you can't control anything. But shielder is really obnoxious. So it's a choose your poison thing. So I'm picking what the card will do to my opponent, and they're picking what their card will do to me. So the manipulation actually allows me to one-shot this first and foremost. We did 655 damage when he has like 100 health. But this mini game in particular is super bad because there's healing cards. So I can't tell you how many times with Manipless I've almost scrapped them, and then I draw a full heal for them, and then I end up losing. It's not very nice.
I'm looking.
Now,
Go ahead.
the next manip that we're doing right now, we're actually going to get an encounter right before the next soldier that we face, and that's actually needed to advance the RNG. So what's going to happen in the next shielder is we're going to pick the bottom middle card twice. That is, for the time being, the fastest way to do that, because the cards are shuffled really, really poorly in the next one. So the encounter is absolutely necessary to give us a favorable seed. I'm so tired of this tower. We have one more of these to go.
Like, this section wouldn't be so bad if the towers were different, but the towers are literally all the same.
Like, they didn't even have the courtesy to like make the towers on the left mirrored or something. Could have
Or
done
like
that.
put the people in different spots.
We run into a golem, I think. Yeah. Or, not golem, granite.
It's a good name.
It's honestly a solid name.
Incidentally, the N64 game was only published by Hudson Soft, but was developed by Red Entertainment, and it looks really charming, and also utilized the transfer pack for the GBC games.
Of course they would. Why
Why wouldn't they?
They're so ambitious. Hey, you got a remote control, kid?
Like, it's genuinely really cool to me.
All right, so we essentially used Water Pulse, and then we get a free heal of, a whopping 50 health when we're not hurt. What's unfortunate is, like I said before, this is the fastest way to do this. If this card were within the first selectable cards, we could finish this in one turn. But alas, we cannot. So we basically weakened something with Water Gun and then decided to Hyper Beam it to death when it had 2 HP. So, Jackie is a hater type.
Jackie is a hater type.
All right, we have one more set of mini games, and then we'll finally be out of this and into a tower that's actually different. We actually aren't going to manipulate anything yet. We're so overly powerful compared to this, and there really isn't a good manipulation spot. We are going to do one of the bufferless manips in a minute. All right, well, that's an instant win.
Yeah, that's not even close.
919.
Like 34.
He trains. He has punching gloves. We're hitting it with a wand.
Is that like a baby crocodile? Like, what is that?
It's a junior version of a punching bag.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I see it now.
It's
A punching bag that's in a punching bag game.
It's
Punchception.
It's Robodex entry says loves to rumble with other Robopon, lives without fear. of the inspiration
Lives
that
without
gives.
fear.
I think it
I like-
evolves into this.
Yeah, I like how Biggie like dreams of being a hero and then evolves into Hogbot, which is just a cleaner robot.
Okay, so I'm gonna purposely take a little bit of time lost here because someone in chat did mention that the carts are abnormally sized.
Yeah.
So for reference, here is a regular sized Game Boy Color style cart. Here's the Robopon cart.
Yeah, it's a long one.
It's very large. If you put it in your Game Boy Advance SP shell, it definitely doesn't look like it belongs. All right. So we set up an encounterless manip there. We have a lot of walking to do, so much so that we're actually going to set up another manipulation soon. This manipulation has absolutely no contribution to any of the minigame or the fights coming up. Yeah, anyone in chat who knows the "Don't talk to me or my son ever again" meme, that's basically the regular cart and the
Yep.
Robopon cart.
And then you got the Game Boy Advance cart that's even smaller.
Don't talk to me or my son's son.
So that punching bag thing, Keys, evolves eventually into Brute.
That's
Yep.
what. Okay. So Brute, we'll see we'll see a Brute later in the run. It's the only thing that's capable of killing you in this entire run once you're Jackie. Manipulation is vital to survive that.
The proper terminology is
Like the
scrap.
manipulation actually just outright gives you like the lowest possible rolls that he can do to you. He can do up to 250 damage. Oh, I don't think I've ever hit a 98
Oh,
before.
this is not going
He
to be
got a
fair.
6?
This is not going to be fair at all. Oh,
958. All right, game's easy. That's silly. All right, so we finally don't have to go back to the town because we have an identification card that allows us to enter this middle tower. If you were getting really tired of seeing 5 of the same tower over and over, never fret. We're finally in a new tower. If you enjoyed that, why? We got some forced fights here. Accidentally read this as RoboCop.
Robocop.
We got Vic the Viking, who's holding what looks like a ray gun. All right. Did you know Vikings back then had ray guns? I sure didn't.
what, back in 2000?
All right. Set up another manip. Should be good. The absolute worst case scenario is we get an encounter at the very, very, very end, which that's fine. It'll be disappointing because that's time loss, but it's fine otherwise. But yeah, the tower is different, and like I said, this tower has a pool. We're rapidly approaching it. Get your sunglasses, get your swim trunks, put on some sunscreen. There it is!
So
A 2x2 pool. It's like those backyard inflatable pools.
it's like the Oasis on Route 46.
I'm sure we could all fit in there. It might be a hot tub. It's just a hot tub. It's like the hot tub from the SGDQ hotel. I never realize how lame our callouts are. Get to it, Jackie.
And you just said that in like the face of a Gatling gun facing you.
I know.
Oh yeah, get to it, Jackie. You got this. I believe in you.
It's really strange because some of these fights have really early triggers. Like, that's like a good 5 tiles away from him, but I automatically get pulled to him. We're just holding up our fist. We brought our fists to a gunfight. What is this? You know what it is? Since Jackie is magic, he just like waves his wand and reverses the bullet into the other robot.
Well, you see, Jackie's Robodex entry does have something about that.
Does
It
it?
says, well, tangentially related, uses colorful magic through his staff by simply waving it. Literally just wave his wand and colorful magic, whatever that means.
It's like I had a joke and I already forgot. No! What the heck? I called this happening. Behold, it's a
Togekiss,
medbot. Yeah.
nurse, Joy.
That's what Nurse Joy evolves into, I think. Or that evolves into Nurse Joy. I believe that's the only other teleport we get to the Coliseum, which is unfortunate. Also, Kamet is surrounded by more guards, which I feel like that's not fair.
Snarks.
Oh yeah, so this is this fight has another censored robot for good reason. 2 of them actually. I just now noticed this Scolby has wrenches out of its head. So this is Snorks. You ever see it on a Japanese version? It doesn't really, you can't see its face.
Yep.
And then, this one isn't as censored as I thought. Well, there's Peach. All right. That was a little more censored than that. It's somehow worse than the Japanese version.
Oh, I see why this one's called Pirate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Usually there's like a little bit of cleverness. That's just Pirate. It'd be like you being Pumpkin.
Fantastic. All right, so we are now Legend 4, and so there's a lot of stuff getting blown up with Draco's run, and also with the prior run. There's just a lot of blowing up, so I feel kind of left out. So in this segment, I'm going to blow something up. I'm not going to say what or how or where, but we're going to blow something up.
This part's weird.
This part is strange.
There's the whole fishing thing. It's just, the whole thing is weird.
This whole segment is absurd. Like, that's just all there is to it. Hey, what the heck? All right, I just wanted to show off that there's a new area unlocked. That's it. Good thing there's no manip. So this wasn't here before, but now all of a sudden there's a giant tower. Dr. Disc, the one that gave us Viggy, which turned into Hogbot, which eventually transferred into Jackie. Dr. Disc is apparently Legend 3. And Dr. Disc goes on a huge tirade of how I knew one day you'd come after me, so I'm hiding here and you can't catch me. Lisa looks like Ash's mom in child form. She's also our girlfriend, I think.
And his daughter.
And his daughter. And he kind of looks like Professor Oak. I'm not. That's where I'm stopping. A lake opened up. Let's talk about that. We got denied a fight. Now there's a lake.
Let's go fishing.
Yeah, so we actually get a free tackle box here. And then we're going to buy a sukiyaki.
I'm sorry, did you say taco box?
Did I say taco?
I don't remember.
I'm not sure if you said taco. You might have said tackle, but I heard taco.
I tried to say tackle. If I said taco, that's the same thing. Same thing. We know what I meant. All right. So it's funny because sukiyaki actually heals all your HP if you need a healing item, but it also specifically says allows you to enter Ghana City or Ghana Town or whatever. So that happened. Under the sea. DMCA.
Anyways.
Yeah, so this little brat pulled us down. He really likes sukiyaki, and he decided to pull us down because we put it on a rod with a very, very long line. And we're wearing a snorkel now. His mother gave us a snorkel. Now all of a sudden we can breathe underwater with our
Wait,
snorkel.
we couldn't breathe until we went in there?
We couldn't breathe before.
We don't even have the snorkel on
but
our
now
Sprite.
we can. That's not even
You're
on our Sprite.
holding
So,
it in your pockets, and you can breathe underwater.
So I don't know what's more concerning about this segment, and this is totally like etiquette's joke, but I liked it. I don't know what's more concerning about this segment. Us finding bombs in people's houses or us using those bombs in a few minutes. But we're literally walking into people's homes. Also, this is the little crap that pulled us down.
He's
eating it in front of us.
It's called Kid.
Yeah. Heck,
He's
that
not
kid.
even important enough to have a name.
No, no, he is not. But we go into two different homes, and for whatever reason, they hide 2 red bombs total on the same spot.
Nailed it.
So 2 completely different homes. They both just decide that the bookshelf is where a red bomb should be. Specifically, the 4th bookshelf from the left. Oops. Oh, God. There.
You made the exact same mistake on Monday night or Sunday, whatever the hell.
I
Whatever the heck
know.
it was.
Because I forget that it pushes you ahead 1. But I didn't make that mistake in my PB today. You know, that big time, super important world record.
Oh, yeah.
That isn't a sub 150, and I'm upset.
So
All right, so we got 2 red bombs. And it's actually kind of interesting how this worked. So casually, there are red bombs, which those are forced. Like you have to get those to advance this. And then there's a dungeon we enter where there's black bombs, blue bombs, and I think there's a green bomb. So I actually spent, no crap, 5 hours routing what the best bomb route was. This game is not worth 5 hours of routing that.
that sounds both ridiculous, like in and out of context.
The other thing is you have to use the 2 red bombs here and then go grab more, and they're just going to stay in the building.
Also, Ash's mom / our girlfriend is cheering for us to commit this act of domestic terrorism.
You said blow it to what? Blow it to bits? Or
But she's
okay.
in the building.
She don't give a crap. All right, so we're gonna run into the kid again, and the kid's just all like, "Oh man, like thanks for the food, but I'm gonna give you this treasure. It's this ball." And he tries to throw it at us. It's a bomb.
Oh my
He whips the throw.
It looks like it just hits you right in the
He
face
didn't
and
even know.
drops down.
I didn't know that. He didn't even know. He's like, that ball was a bomb?
It just,
What a
it just
jackass.
bonks off your forehead.
Also, yeah, so let it be known, if you throw a bomb into the ocean, the lost city of Atlantis just comes back to the surface.
What is this part of the game?
We've gone off the rails.
If we weren't already, here we are.
This is
I thought this was about going to fight the 7 legends and like ranking up. Nope.
This is a kid that don't give a crap. Along with his friend, the dumbass who throws the bomb. Oh my goodness. So this dungeon is actually kind of interesting. So there's this button that you press that changes like where you can access. This is why it took 5 hours to route the black bomb thing, because there are multiple rooms. You could use other bombs, but the thing that makes the black bomb so important is it can destroy 2 floors at once, whereas the other ones can either destroy 1 floor at once or don't do anything. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if one of them somehow restores a floor, because this is Robopon. And then just like with that motorcycle / car section, it's faster to use a ground escape and start at the beginning of the dungeon than it would be to backtrack. So we do that. Now we're going to the right instead of the left. Going up leads to absolutely nothing worth our time. I think there's actually like a software there you can get, but clearly we don't need another software. We just need bombs. I want to blow something up. I want to feel like I'm part of the group. I like that comment.
Which one? The watch list or the official lore?
Both. I saw the other one too.
It drained enough water for the town to be back above sea level.
Like, I don't believe it, because it's too accurate to the key of the game. But I definitely believe it at the same time, because this game's whack.
I need to play this. I need to play this video game.
I'm telling you, this is worth a casual playthrough. Just, if you can just deal with how chunky the engine feels, it's actually a really, really solid game with a lot of like creativity to some of the approaches and a lot of customization. It's still weird.
Yeah, it doesn't make it any less weird. I actually really appreciate that this game just like went really, really anime all of a sudden, because
it went in the deep end. It turned into a JoJo's episode.
She's like, you did it. You're doing great.
Cody's Bizarre Adventure. Let's go.
Hooray! You destroyed my father's building. Thank you, Cody.
No, you destroyed my building.
Now, see, I feel like this is a fair compromise. We destroyed his building, and he's saying that he'll only fight us if we put the company on the line. Now, the silly thing about this is Lisa / Ash's mom / our girlfriend / someone who clearly doesn't understand the dangers of explosives. She argues with her dad after we accept, saying, no, that's not fair. Cody's been working hard at his company. When's the last time we were in that freaking town?
About an hour and a half ago.
Yeah. Working hard.
Hardly working.
Good point, Lisa. Good point, Lisa. It's probably the Nurse Joy bot doing all the work. Oh, boy. Don't worry, everyone. We have a little over like 20-25 more minutes of great Robopon fun. We're about to become Legend 3. We're putting our company on the line.
Don't lose.
I've actually never lost this fight, so I don't know if you actually technically lose your company.
It's just game over.
If you lose it.
It's game over. Delete your save file. Yeah.
So now we have Crawley, which looks like Old Yeller needs to be put down.
Oh my god. It looked like a potato with feet.
The poop emoji.
That too. Yeah, the poop emoji. Which impresses me that we see it this late in the game, because we saw it twice in the school. So I guess its stats are actually okay. We have Magmardabuzz.
Magmardabuzz.
Oh, man.
Zap for short.
Zap for short.
And then we have censorship. Oh, that's his arm. I thought that was a handle. Oh, his angle's weird.
Yeah, he's like, he's still turned around. He's got the the exhaust
His
pipe.
pants are up
He's got
now.
the exhaust pipe.
Yeah, I said I was gonna leave it to the imagination, but the Japanese sprite of that, his pants are down. You can see crack, and he's clearly farting.
He is farting in your
There's
general
gas
direction.
coming out of him. Yeah. All right, so yeah, there's an emergency. There's an attempted coup of the castle. You know, just American things, I guess. But yeah, so we gotta clear a couple of fights here, and then we go through the longest cutscene in the game, and it's so obnoxious.
This is a video game.
Oh, it sure is.
Like, if the cartridge wasn't like $50, the only like the only listing I could find for the English version was like $50, and I was like, I want to know what I'm reading. Whereas, like, I can get for like 25 for the Japanese copy.
So what I do is I just like do a let's play of every single spot so you know what's being said.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna find some really interesting interesting robots here. So first off, we get to see our starter. There's Sunny. This fool used Sunny for 37 levels, and it's dead. 1,195 damage. That's why Sunny is bad.
That's a lot of damage.
Now we have QB. He plays football.
I don't have it handy, but his Robodex entry is like, is an athlete, does not like to study.
Now it's Puffmelian. This is what the Moon Starter turns into. It goes Horsey into Charmeleon into Dragonite. Which the fun thing about the Dragonite, its name is Draco, and its Dex entry says that it's the legendary dragon that is said to destroy all of humanity or something. I took some creative liberty with that, but it basically says it's going to destroy the world.
Well, let's see what it says. Oh, there it is. Draco. Rumored in ancient legends as the dragon that will destroy the world.
Yeah. Also, we have Chex. He plays hockey.
Checks out.
Chex.
There's Card.
Also, I'm a dum-dum because I was like, I don't understand the reference of card. And then without missing a beat, Etiquette was like cardinal. And I stared very hard and finally saw it after 20 plus years of knowing of its existence. I'm so dumb. Ugh. All right, so this is the longest cutscene in the game. Now, what's neat is since the Robopon community, at least for the Game Boy games, is a community of 2, it's really easy to make some quality of life changes. So eventually, there will be runs on the extravagantly large leaderboard of 2 people that will allow turbo. So this part won't be nearly as annoying. It'll give you a chance to hold a button while taking a drink. But I think this cutscene is like 2 minutes. It's not 2 minutes, but it's like a minute actually. It's really long. You just mash for so many text boxes, and I believe it has 10 plus more text boxes than in Japanese.
Oh God.
Yeah. Also, he magnetoed the crown? And now Princess is here and she got magnetoed into Dr. Zero. Also, Dr. Zero is the bad guy. We finally got introduced to an actual bad guy. He kind of just came out of nowhere. There might have been lore or build-up if you talk to regular NPCs about it, but in this run we literally just get smacked in the face with a bad guy. So now we We're going to try and save the princess. This has become Mario. I just realized that was the puncher music. Why was the puncher music playing here?
Is there a mini game?
Nope. So Dr. Zero's quite the fellow. He found a way to turn other robots into trainers. So we have this one, which is named Zero's Henchman, which I don't remember what robot that is, but it just looks like a ramen cup of noodle that just flipped upside down.
Woody is literally just the tree from Kirby.
Yep. We have Spider-Man meme here. Except our Jackie's much stronger than his Jackie. And then we have Smacks.
Smacks.
It's
Diglett, and he wants to give you a big old
okay.
smooch.
No. So it's Diglett, and then it's the eyes from Ah Real Monsters holding above the head. That's what it is.
All right, so one teapot has exploded.
On to the next one.
This is Zero's lieutenant. You fight his lieutenant second. So you think like it's gonna be the I forgot it was the Peach. Peach and the Snorks. No wonder this was censored.
Oh yeah, they were both. Those are the other two censored ones
Back
I'm
to
aware
back.
of.
Yeah, so you think we're fighting the lieutenant? Also meet Johnny.
Johnny the John.
Yep.
Oh, just a toilet.
Probably my favorite sprite, actually. Like sprite name
Pretty
combination.
good one, for sure.
Also, 8-Bot, who lives in the Arctic.
The very pretty bow.
I actually tried the route 8-Bot because 8-Bot was another thing you could find alongside Jackie, but 8-Bot is terrible.
Well, 8-Bot's one of the... Actually, no, it's not. Never mind. I was going to say it's one of the boot types, but it's actually not.
The Mewtwo of this game is a boot type. And you could get the Mewtwo of this game as early as you get Jackie, at least in terms of accessibility.
Tuna!
But,
Oh, yeah.
Tuna.
For about tuna.
I love this.
But, yeah, so you could get the Mewtwo of this game. I don't remember its name. Do you?
Scar.
Scar, yeah. Yeah, so you enter an alternate dimension where Lion King ends tragically. But
Ribot.
you obtain Scar. But you have to traverse 50 floors of that dungeon that Jackie was in. And then the worst part about it is boot type robots can't use software. You can only physically attack. And as we've seen, physical attacks are kind of garbage. I would imagine with something like Scar, it's actually pretty okay. But you lose any sort of effectiveness. But I guess you don't have to worry about like software points. But then again, you get software points when you level up. So it's like, don't worry about it anyway. I don't know. I'm sure there's a reason to use it. I can't come up with one. So Dr. Zero decided to take his UFO stormtrooper hat and fly to a different place, but we immediately found it. And now he's threatening to blow stuff up, much like we did. So, like any reasonable person, we're running around in circles in a panic. And now he's erecting his tower.
Wait, so his bombs actually heal his tower and make it bigger.
Yes.
So you were right.
And Bisco's here.
Why?
I don't know. I actually
Wait,
he's just
hold on. We haven't seen him in like an hour and a half.
yeah, but he's here. It's okay. So the Mr. Smiths are leaving the tower now because Zero's technically winning right now. No, not store. Take a long thing. So we need our car soon. So we're withdrawing it right now. Also, etiquette, I just figured out an
Oh
optimization.
no! What?
So instead of withdrawing Speedy and then using the Grand Escape and then manipping after the Grand Escape, you just withdraw Speedy in the manip menu.
I like it. I also like how you kept calling it Grand Escape.
I said ground, whatever. It is a Grand Escape. The Grand Escape from this hell. I honestly, when I was a kid, I thought it was Grand Escape.
It's way cooler sounding.
So I just imagine that, like, to escape the dungeon, you just like threw a plume of smoke at your feet.
Now for my Grand Escape.
Like, goodbye.
Oh, we were
And
suddenly
then as
playing,
smoke
like,
dissipates, you
Metal
just
Gear.
like slowly run away.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's our box. All right, so story-wise, Prince Tail was the Legend 1, which is why he's the Prince of the Kingdom. Dr. Zero, who has a 0 in his name, went from number 2 to number 1. Numbers make no sense, but now technically Dr. Zero is the ruler of the land. And now we have to tell Prince Tail to, you know, pull up his bootstraps and fight me, because I don't care if the world's in danger. I want to be Legend 1 and I need to fight him. It's kind of funny. We just saw the prince run and just leave the princess behind. You know, the princess he's supposed to protect, you know, because, of course.
He's got other things he's dealing with.
He ran into a cave to cry.
And that's him dealing with it.
How did he get up in this cave? Yeah, I didn't even think about this. He doesn't have a robot that can go up the hills. How did he do this?
I don't know. He's Prince Tail. What a name.
Wait, what? Now that I can read the text, it makes even less sense. Wait, the princess is okay? Oh, thank goodness. You literally just left! Fantastic. All right, so now that we got him out of his funk, also Tail Castle is now Zero's castle, which is funny because this is called Zero's castle now, and then if you go to the bottom left corner, it's called Zero Castle. So he just has 2 castles, I guess.
Well, I mean, he's Legend 1 now, so.
Yeah, the rules don't apply to him anymore. Oh, hey, you know what?
You want a manip?
Let me walk back here, because there's a manip I'm supposed to do. This is the last manip of the game.
Oh, so this is the, okay.
Really, really, really important one. It's so important that if you mess it up, you could die in your fights. And then on top of everything else, if you mess it up, depending on what part you're on, you can lose anywhere from 1 to 5 minutes. So from here, I have to have absolutely perfect menuing, perfect movement, etc., etc.
I believe in you, Keys.
Also, Prince Tail's sprite is actually pretty
Yeah,
cool.
I was about to say that.
All right, so there's Horsey.
Oh yeah, that's totally not horsey.
Why does he have, he's like the second to last fight. Why does he have the starter from the other game?
Well, he has
Yep,
Charmeleon
that's
now.
totally not Charmeleon. Holy buckets.
Does he,
I like his
does he
head.
have Dragonite as well?
Behold, the destroyer of worlds. So he outspeeds us, and the manip is important because Thunder Breath actually paralyzes you like 9 times out of 10. The manip allows us to not only survive, but not get paralyzed.
The comedy.
And on top of that, your accuracy is actually based on whether you are faster or slower than something. We are slower than both Draco and SST bot. So the manip allows us to hit him. I accidentally said yes instead of no. Back out of that. We get an all-important level up here because we have no way to heal this off. Otherwise, we'd have to make another manip. And the prince is, you know, being kind of a brat. I can't believe I lost.
You just like whip out a helicopter?
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that's how he got up the hill, I guess. Also, there's a mirror, and also the princess is getting black holed into the mirror. Now the princess is a mirror. We can teleport with TVs, so somehow I can find this as a believable thing, but I forgot they physically
The soldier just drags him in.
So they're not even, he's not even picking up the mirror. So I can understand the prince being pushed, but the mirror is literally just being pushed.
What is happening?
Wait, there's an audience here. There's just people chilling, watching this. The kingdom is in tatters. What are you doing? All right, so this is the only legend fight that we do that we don't actually do it here. Because Dr. Zero is a coward, we have to do it on his home turf, which is not Zero's castle, but is Zero
Makes
castle.
sense.
Video game has been a trip.
I can bonk once. We have one bonk of wiggle room. If we have perfect movement, I actually have to purposely bonk. Excuse me, because otherwise the manipulation does not line up nicely. So the engine of this game is kind of chunky. So even though like a lot of the movement seems like there shouldn't be any issue or something, oftentimes there'll be a double input. Oftentimes, even if it feels like you're about to be mid-transition in a tile and you change your direction, you don't complete your movement and you bonk. So it is a little nerve-wracking to have a manipulation before the second to last fight and then do all this movement and then have the last fight and know that if you mess it up, you have to redo the second to last fight.
Not.
So now we're at his personalized dome. We have to bonk once. The bonk.
I don't know why it's so funny. It's just.
He's like, I'm ready, and he just turns really quickly. So, while Prince Tail had, I had to double check if that was land or sea. While Prince Tail had SST bot, Dr. Zero has the opposite one. So he has G bot, GY bot, which for some reason takes more damage from C-Link for whatever reason. But he also has GGT bot, which is basically like the opposite version of SST bot. The funny thing about it is, according to the Dex entries, SST bot is flaunted by the rich, which makes sense because it's Prince Tail, whereas GGT bot is the most sought out bot ever. Also, this is Brute. He does Alpha Punch. That can deal up to 250 damage. This is why manipulation is important. So that is the last fight. It was very, not with a bang, but with a whimper. Also, we leveled up at level 58, at level 59. That is a thing. So time's actually coming up after Bisco saves us, because this place is about to explode. And our rival Bisco, who was a complete and utter jerk earlier and made us fight him twice, and I messed up the manip, so the fights are terrible. He's like, I feel bad. You mess up the manips. You're on a GDQ and your keys, so, that was bound to happen. Let me help you out.
What are you doing, Cody?
He just, became a good guy all of a sudden.
Is this the first time you've
Yeah,
finished?
time's going to come up as soon as we enter this door and it fades to white. Time.
Is this the first time you've finished egregiously underestimate?
I've finished underestimate at GDQ stuff before.
Have you, though?
Not very often during the main events.
Have you, though?
Yes. My first run was underestimate and blindfolded, and I got my ass beat by Shen.
Seriously though, GG, that was really entertaining. I'm so glad I had you on board.
This end is we actually literally recently changed the timing rules 2 or 3 days ago, because the original ending you actually sit through a fake credits and then there's more text, and then the credits pop up finally, and then that's when timing would be, which we're kind of mashing through it right now anyway. Also, the princess is still a mirror.
I'm gonna shout out our tech Richard right now, who has declared this run as overestimate by exactly 1 second.
I hate you.
It's the estimates on screen.
I have it up
Yeah,
now.
the
I
estimates
hate
on
you.
screen,
You're
so.
the worst. I have to deal with you tomorrow. What a scam.
Well, speaking of tomorrow, where can the wonderful people in chat find you or find out more about this game?
So I'm twitch.tv/KeysRun, also Twitter/KeysRun. You know, just if you can see my name on screen, that's all you have to put up. There is a guide, not an updated one. I'll put that one up soon. But there is a guide on SRC. There's actually an entire Robopon series on SRC. It has Sun, which I think is as Sun and
It's
Star.
Sun and Star.
It has Moon, and it also has Ring and Cross versions. You know, the sequels for the Game Boy Advance. I don't think I have the N64 version yet because there aren't any runs. But you can find all the information for that there. There are 2 people that have ran this game on Game Boy. There is 1 recorded time for Moon. I tried it. I stunk. And I think there's only like 1 time each for the Game Boy Advance games. So really, really open chance if you ever want to be like top 3, top 2, top 1 in any sort of speed game. And like I said before, the manipulations are actually super duper easy to figure out. You either hold A to buffer or you just wait 1.5 seconds. So really easy game to learn, and really hard game to apparently find English copy of, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's like $50. Like, there's 1 listing I found, and I'm very, very sad because I want a copy of this.
But you can also find an inspired and upcoming runner in etiquette at twitch.tv/etiquette. He's gonna
I
run
want
this
to
soon.
run this really bad.
Aha, I knew it.
I actually do.
Yeah, like it looks great. I would watch Etiquette. You should follow Etiquette, folks. Let me put Etiquette's let me not spell Twitch wrong. I'm doing like TIW TTIW. I don't know what I'm spelling.
Don't go to that link.
Yeah.
You won't find me there.
Nope. I don't know what Twitter is, but twitch.tv is where you can find Keyseron and Etiquette. Which, by the way, thank you for being on for commentary and Peanut Gallery with me.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the kind of run you need stuff like that. So
Oh
it
yeah.
was good.
And
remember, this isn't Pokemon.
Not Pokemon.
It is not Pokemon.
it is not Pokemon. It is totally not Pokemon. I think. But thank you
Oh,
all.
I've never seen that bot before. The like unicorn thing? What?
Tuna.
There's Tuna.
Betty. I'm learning the names.
What is that?
That's like zombie. Zombot.
What was that? It's a Lola Mola.
It's a Lola Mola. Anyway.
That's Robopon. I hope everyone enjoyed that. It was a trip.
Yeah, and it was certainly a trip from my perspective. I don't know about anyone else. I had a great time. Gonna shout out the Nokia cell phone, Robopon, and Kuwabara there on the screen. But speaking of Kuwabara, next episode on the 20, am I doing dates right? 27th? January 27th? Yes, that is the next episode of Never Before Seen. It's gonna be episode 5, theme anime.
Oh dear.
And you might be asking, well, gee, Amber, all the games you featured on this were pretty anime. Yeah, that's true, but they all had a common theme. These don't. We're talking Ghost in the Shell, like the PS2 game. So if you liked the PS1 game and was curious, oh, what's the PS2 game like? You'll find out. So we got Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex, Toho 6. We've got a Sailor Moon game. And we've got the only Danganronpa game that is apparently not a visual novel. So like I'm excited to have the anime episode, and I thought it was a great follow up to this episode. I was reading the name of one of my runners for next week. Don't mind me. So it is not the Danganronpa game is not a visual novel. I promise. It is I think it's like a hack and slash or something. But like I saw the submissions, I was like, yeah, I've got enough anime submissions. Let's do this. So, if you have a game yourself that you would like to submit to Never Before Seen, type NBS or !NBS into chat. You'll get the link that'll bring you to my submission form. Send me your runs, send me your games. I have a lot of submissions already. I have plenty of content, but I'm always happy to have more submissions to choose from. And that said, yeah, I think that's about it. So if you did miss any of the runs from AGDQ 2021 online, including Etiquette's run of Pokemon Blue Catch-em-all, Pokemon Blue, right? Not red?
It was.
It was blue, okay. Got my colors right. Or if you want to watch any previous Hotfix shows, I know I host this show. We're going into episode 5 now. And then Keys here is part of the first step, which is tomorrow. You can go to youtube.com/gamesdonequick and check out the archive of our live shows. And then join us tomorrow on the first step at 7 p.m. Eastern, where this knucklehead here, Keyzeron, and J-Hobbs are returning from their speedrun adventures on the second step. Yeah, join us on the first step for the second step. And we'll be having a normal TFS episode playing Ghost Runner. So this is actually a real the first step episode. It's not the second step spinoff.
The second step is donezo for now because we have enough time for a full season, which is like anywhere between like 12 to 15 games that we do or something like that. We haven't actually established a hard number, but yeah, so we're actually going in after just one casual playthrough. I think Hobbs is doing his run of it either tonight or tomorrow before the show. I've already done mine. Ghost Runner is a really fun game, and I'm hoping that everyone's looking forward to seeing that tomorrow.
Yeah, so definitely stick around tomorrow starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. I really enjoy the first step. When's 3D Blast, J-Hobbs. But seriously, thank you all.
Ball's in his
the
court.
Ball is, in fact, in his court. But thank you all so much for watching. My name is AmberCyprian. I've been your host tonight. Thank you to all the runners that I've had. Keyzeron, Dracodan, and Joester98. Follow all three of those wonderful people. And follow Etiquette for commentary as well. And that's going to be it from us. Have a great rest of your night. We're going to send you over to another speedrunner in just a moment after this last set of ads on our way out. And go send them some love with whatever speedrun endeavors they are on. Thank you all and have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.